we decide we're going to leave Boris here. We tractor beam the Connex box out. We fly away, leaving Boris in Canada. He'll be fine, though, I'm sure.
Still has his Caprice Classic.
You put it on the ship and took off with it.
Oh, Jax is right!
Are we the bad guys?
Session 20, Psychotronic Hustle, Backdoor, Boogie, B Team. Time for the recap.
Well, I don't really know how to do this without my boyfriend here, but I'll try and do it without Big Montana. So we decided to do some quick modifications to the ship. We got rid of the robots for the time being, and we recruited Sisters of Karma, because they can help defend the ship and they're actually useful on the ground. And also it saved us some power so we could actually have more cargo space on the vessel. Bert went ahead and he got engraved forging gear for Modric. And I think Modric was happy with it. I can't be sure though.
Took him a while. He was still busy making his memorial to the axe. It was like almost a full day before he noticed it.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. The axe was kind of important. We then picked up a couple of land vehicles that we could use. And by saying a couple, my father's going to beat me to within an inch of my life because we got 3 instead of 2. We then decided to pay a lot of money to 5 intelligence agents so we could find information out on Sindoom. We're trying to find where the crystals are coming from, where they might have centers of mass that can be exploited. Just pretty much anything we can use against them.
Yeah, I took a list of all the stuff you guys are looking for. So.
Okay. And then we learned that the crystals are capable of 25 spike jumps, which, considering Borax is good for 1 each time, that's a huge deal, and that gives Sindoom a massive strategic advantage on how they can move their forces around. We then went to find a psychic who could help us find... Let me see if I can find his name real fast. I wrote it down. Toontar's nephew, Hesh. And we went to Diamond Quartz, and in the Thora area. And we're told that we do have one person on the ship who can find him, and we didn't even need to come there, and that's Big Montana.
Our new psychic.
And because Big Montana is now a competent psychic, unlike our other psychic. And so, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about the other one.
Oh, I know. He still has feelings.
Does he though?
He had snake hands. Now he doesn't have feelings anymore. He's got pincer things. That kind of negates feelings at this point. But we went ahead and Big Montana discovers this, and he also gets the VHS set, which, you know, he's got the VHS set in the player, we're good. So after he goes there, he discovers that he can mentally find through the star charts where the guy might be, and he gets a Polaroid camera. And he gets a Polaroid of it, and he's able to find where the Hesh is. And it's in an uncharted planet somewhere with a really stupid name. They call it Earth for some reason. I don't know why you would possibly do that. Everything's exploding. But, so he gets the Polaroid, and he discovers from I want to say Diamond Quartz, yes, from Diamond Quartz, that he can use this ability, but as he uses it to manifest things, it slowly depletes his soul, and if he tries something too extreme, he'll be vaporized into essentially nothing. So the first thing Big Montana does is wishes he has his Cadillac and drives it out of the jungle into our reality again. Because when I think of things that aren't too extreme, I think manifesting things out of nothingness. And so he comes here and he gets his cat, he drives it around a bit, he's happy. And Ernie actually discovers that he no longer wants to wear shoes. The same as Big Montana. And so I think that's a father-son bonding moment right there. Something in common with Pa. They're going to be a lot closer now.
It's a psychic thing.
It might be, you're right. Actually, that has me a bit uncomfortable at the moment.
I'm
So,
just concerned that when all the space chips I buy wore off or run out, Big Montana's going to disintegrate himself making space chips.
how many space chips could he make hypothetically before he disintegrates? That's the question.
Very good question.
How many tons? But spaceships aside, we make our way towards the uncharted star, and we get a message from a Professor Magneto and a Darren from the VLA. And we get the message, and it turns out this is just some old ass recording kind of thing coming to us. But we respond anyway, trying to be polite because we're nice people. We land on the planet in northern Canada at an airport, and everyone's got their cameras out. They're taking pictures because it's kind of before the age of cell phones with cameras in them. And Ernie decides to teleport and photobomb everyone he can because that pleases him. We get in the caddy and we roll out to the Longfellow Tavern, and there we're trying to find out if anyone knows this kid or what happened to Hesh. And our good friend Ernie discovers a Russian cowboy named Boris. And those two, they're like this, with Boris up here and Ernie down here. And Boris and Ernie hit it off, and they say, we might know where to go. There's a crash site that Boris has heard about. It's a little ways in the woods, though. So we do the logical thing, and we get in our vehicles, and he has this lovely 1984 Caprice Classic, and I believe Whitesnake on repeat. The entire ride. It was wonderful. We drive back to the ship, and we take it to the crash site. We get off the ship with Boris, and we start looking for the river where we think the ship might be crashed with Hesh in it. And we go underwater, and that's where we see a small Sindoom mini-sub, kind of James Bond-esque, which Ernie then proceeds to crush like a tin can using telekinesis. And so an underwater battle ensues. A weird Sindoom mining vehicle tank things up there. It starts shooting at us. Miyoko starts fighting it. Big Montana calls down our ship's 88 millimeters to start blasting the entire area with us in the field of fire. But yeah, that went about as well as everyone could expect. But we finally destroy the mining vehicle. We take one person captive, Ernie does, and we manage to disable the vehicle, take one person captive. We start searching through the things. An interrogation takes place, if I'm not mistaken, with a nice torture session. Someone loses an arm, and then Ernie has to teleport the prisoner to Emma to be healed and kept alive. We decide we're going to go ahead and follow the vehicle back to where it came from, and we follow it, and we find a Sindoom camp there. And in the Sindoom camp, we find a Connex box, which, as we know at this point, that's kind of the yellow lens vermiurge kind of shit there. And we cut it open, and Big Montana starts burning away all of the expando foam inside of it, and it reveals a blue guy. And we don't actually talk to him. We teleport him immediately back with Ernie's help to the ship to be healed. And we hope this is the correct guy. He has the marks, he has the trident, but we haven't spoken to him yet. So we'll see, but he is alive, which is a very good thing. So we decide we're going to leave Boris here. We track to beam the Connex box out. We fly away, leaving Boris in Canada. He'll be fine, though, I'm sure. And
Still has his Caprice Classic.
he does. So I mean, that's
He
something.
doesn't. You put it on the ship and took off with it.
Oh yeah, fuck. We
You don't have his.
ride.
You have his car.
We jacked his
yeah.
ride. I forgot we jacked his shit.
Are we the bad guys?
What?
We stole
Torture
his car.
sessions, jacking people's cars? Nah,
Torture was one thing, but stealing his Caprice Classic,
that's a bit much, yeah.
Can't replace
With
that.
White Snake.
he
With
can't
White
replace
Snake.
that.
Well, in our defense, he did have White Snake, so maybe we aren't the bad guys. But while there, Bert has the brilliant idea to show Modric the trident, and he's less than impressed, calling it crap. Because it wasn't made by dwarves, which that's fair. That's fair if we're honest. And I'm pretty sure that's where we ended off, was leaving the solar system slowly. Did I miss anything?
No, you nailed it.
I read the notes perfectly.
That's why they're there. That's fine with me. Bert did damage one of the security cars with his axe. It didn't make any noise. It just melted the entire side of the car as he put his axe through it.
We're not the bad guys.
In my defense, they were trying to stop us from getting to our ship.
True.
They moved out of the way, though, immediately through Big Montana's mouth.
Correct. And they didn't, as I believe they said, they didn't get paid enough.
Yeah.
Hey, you also enjoyed some maple syrup. And
Yeah, we
you
drank the
are
maple syrup.
you are headed out into the atmosphere, leaving this planet called Earth. There's 2 hustle points remaining, and those 2 characters are here. What do you want to do with them?
Rename the planet to something less stupid. I like Canada. Let's call it Canada instead of Earth.
I used mine to collect some references and build my resume.
All right.
Playing the long game here.
References for resume. Okay. All right. All right, Bert.
Let's see, our Russian jumped ship, correct?
Oh, you didn't. He didn't jump ship. You left without him.
Okay.
We left the white Russian back there. We got the black Russian, though. It's in the cabinet. Near the liquor.
And I used my hustle point to try and figure out the deal with the trident, since Modric won't look at it for me, since he says it's junk.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So because you're familiar with that axe that you had before, it is certainly has some sort of magical powers in it. Probably some kind of electrical lightning powers. The other crystals that it's got 1 crystal in it, and there's 2 other places. So other crystals are put in it to enhance the power, whatever kind of crystals you put in.
You know, I think we still do have some of those black crystals on board. I wonder what
We've
that
got
would
like
do.
5. You would have to break off a piece to fit in there. The crystals are too big to fit in the slots.
It might
Basically
make
gem size, and you have like the size like of a softball.
You know, if you think about it, every time we put a crystal in someone else's body, they've come back as a zombie. maybe if you put in the trident and you kill someone with it, they'll come back as your zombie.
Sounds like a wild experiment to try.
So you guys are headed out of atmosphere.
I'm flying it.
Okay. You are flying. Give me a pilot roll.
Jesus, one of those. And we're starting off, huh? Okay. That is 11.
Okay. So you can feel the ship as you're heading out, like lurch forward. Everything goes dark, like the emergency lighting comes on, the controls go blank, they all start scrambling, and everything comes back online. You realize you've been hit with some kind of weapon, probably an EMP.
Obi, did you see where that came from?
No. But I can try and get everything up and running.
Do what you can. This is less than good. We're in atmosphere without power.
Give me a fix roll.
I got 13.
Okay. You figure in probably less than an hour, everything's going to restart. It was certainly an EMP that you were hit with. Everything will be back online in about 1 hour. Galileo's like moving around the ship, checking stuff out.
Ernie is joining us.
Hello.
Greetings, friend.
How does my parallel striped shirt look on my phone camera?
Needs more cowbell.
Have you got a fever? Yeah, I'll see how long I can last on this phone before it gets too irritating. Because my dice rolls are also on my phone.
That cannot possibly go wrong in any way, shape, or form.
None whatsoever.
So currently the ship is kind of drifting out here in orbit. As the systems come back online, it will be less than 1 hour.
How are Obi and Galileo doing with the EMP?
That's a good question.
Obi's like, damn you.
He's trying to kill my character.
What would you roll for that?
Can I change the view to grid?
I would think Obi's cybernetics would be shielded against that. But Galileo, I'm not too sure how well built he is. He's a little old.
Well, Galileo is a son of Cad, which I mean, that's kind of like tech level 6 stuff right there.
Well, he was a follower.
A follower of Cad, yeah. So I don't know, maybe.
I mean, Jesus had fishermen. It doesn't mean your followers have tech level 6.
I will give you guys exert or survival or survive. You want to give me a roll on that?
To survive? Hold on.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. They'll be fine.
Don't worry about it. They might just die.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We'll blame it
when
on
the
you.
DM says make a survival, when the DM says make a survival check, it's never good news.
All right, I'll roll for Obi first.
Laughs in Ranger.
What ability is with survive or
I'll let you pick. You can use intelligence. You could use dexterity. You could
All right.
use.
No, we use dexterity, so Obi gets a 7.
Okay.
And then for Galileo, he gets the exact same, a 7.
You guys are shaken up a little bit, but able to continue. You managed to avoid like touching the wrong panel at the wrong time. But it was certainly an EMP from some satellite around here.
All right. Well, I don't know if we can really try scanning for it since our scanner would require power.
Now, when we get back, I'm getting nukes and coming back to this planet.
Does everyone have their vac suits in forms of oxygen?
Yeah, power armor is good for 24 hours, and it can be refueled pretty easily. God damn it, phone, shut up.
Well, I was trying to think because I could just make a pressure field around y'all. Because we don't have 6 people. We have 5,
Yeah.
including Galileo.
We also, I mean, it's a big ship. Life support's going to take a while to fully leave us from here.
Is that a challenge? Peter rubs his hands together because really.
Well, the ship can go ahead and normally have 120 people on it, and we have 30. So there should be plenty of life support for a few, I'd say at least a week or so, easy, with oxygen and stuff.
But will we survive for a week?
We won't suffocate. It'll just get so cold that we freeze to death. Wait,
Yeah, it's the freezing thing that's a problem, but we should have enough time to get vac suits and everything on.
Oh yeah, that'll happen in about. That'll happen in less than 15 minutes.
yeah.
On a ship this big with this much insulation and a heating system, it would take a long time.
They don't exactly use expanding foam inside ships.
They don't, but we do have meters of armor on the vessel as well. It's a heavy frigate designed to carry 120 people, each in their own individual crew quarters. It's a big
I'm just trying
ship.
to.
How long
I'm
did
just
you say
trying
the
to.
power would be out, Peter?
What?
How long did you say the power was going to be out?
An hour.
Less than an hour. It's you've got some backup auxiliary power, but everything is like rebooting, coming back online.
Yeah, we're fine. There's no way a ship this size would freeze in an hour.
If it was like 3 to 4 hours, I would kind of worry about it. But you hear somebody coming down the hall. It's obviously Big Montana because the ship is moving.
Big Montana's here.
And you see like 4 or 5 steps. He stops, and then 4 or 5 more steps.
Mr. Montana, please, would you please stop? You're throwing us out of orbit.
I think right now our biggest threat is whatever EMP does. Not so much the elements, as if we were targeted, then we're just sitting here for like a duck for an hour.
Can we narrow down which side the EMP wave came from?
Yeah, if you want to do that.
What role would that be? Wisdom? Intelligence?
Yeah, you tell. Yeah. Give me no.
Okay. Let me close my Zoom app, open up Discord, pull up the PDF. Open said PDF, zoom in on said PDF. No.
Isaiah's on Discord.
Okay.
His phone lives.
2d8s plus 1. Right? D8s.
2d6. D6.
Dang it.
That he wants to roll those d8s. Like, let me roll them.
He wants to roll initiative.
8 total.
Okay, you have a general idea where it came from. You figure they probably bounced it off a couple satellites. It came from the surface somewhere.
Okay. That's way more detail than I was thinking. I was thinking like a port side, starboard side of the ship, like because the ship would rock. But that's even better. I'll relay that information to the peeps. 1 second. Sorry, I'm just trying to open things back up again. Load. Okay, there we go.
There's not much we can do about it now until we have power restored to the ship's engines or weapon systems.
Yes, but I was set an exit again. Right. I was able to determine the origin of the EMP wave. I think it came from the planet.
Yeah, it's
Isn't that
probably them
crazy?
Canadians, man. I chopped up one of their weird-looking little cars. They're probably pissed.
But how do they have that technology? We would have. I mean, the only other technology I can think of would be a nuke, and I don't think they did that. We noticed the fireball.
Well, if you recall what Boris said, the Americans got the best technology from the spaceship crash stuff, and that stuff there is vermiage technology, which was
Well-
very advanced.
Did we get what other means of communication are there? Dang it. No, that's not a good idea. I was going to ask if the ship had lights, like auxiliary lights that were EMP lined, and maybe we could flash Morse code down there. Maybe it'd shine through a little bit.
They're probably
Or
too
radio.
for that. That's a backdoor planet.
Well, they did just EMP us.
Yeah, but they stole that technology.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean it doesn't mean they don't have another way of communication.
Doesn't mean they stole a Morse code handbook out of one of the ships.
The problem is
They know
that
how
we
to
were
read.
invited there, and then they shot at us.
Yeah, eh? Shot at us, eh?
That means it's a trap, most likely.
So do we have all the hatches secured, everything, right? Nothing's left open, but we're on full lockdown. ain't we?
Everything's tied down. People can move about just fine, but all of the cargo and everything is taken care of.
I think the best solution right now would be to confine everyone to their quarters on the off chance that it is a trap.
Well, anyways, if anybody starts getting real cold, just head down to the workshop. I'm sure Modric's forge is still burning, so get it
Yeah.
toasted.
Yep.
This is where we learn Modric's secret. It's an electric forge.
He's crying in the corner. It's gone. It's all gone.
All right, so Ernie is trying to figure out, you've been working figuring out where this EMP came from. Obi's getting the systems back up, him and the Galileo. I would guess that Miyoko is trying to pilot or in the pilot seat or...
Trying to go ahead and stop us from crashing into a planet now that
Okay.
we've lost orbit.
Well, you currently have not lost orbit. You are still in orbit.
Are we in sustainable orbit, or are we slowly
yes.
descending?
You're not descending at this point.
Oh, in
How
that case,
far
I'm gonna warn all of the other sisters on the ship to go ahead and get ready for possible contact.
And Big Montana is in the hallway trying to catch his breath.
I think that's just Big Montana being Big Montana.
It
I mean,
leaves.
Oh, sleepy.
Yeah, I just woke up.
I'll take my $20 now for saying he woke up and his phone died.
What he's meaning to say is that he just got off of a long shift and they kept him too long and he's tired, but he will persevere anyway. Yeah.
Yeah,
He-
this week has been hell. It has been nothing but just unbearably hot at the body shop. Oh my god.
I imagine.
Well, good news is we've been hit by an EMP, we have no power, and we're all gonna die. Bad news.
and you're out of breath.
Yep. And the planet are the ones who shot the EMP at us, so I vote we leave, get nukes, then come back and blow up this stupidly named planet.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Does EMP have thriving power on it? Because I'm basically not taking it off except to sleep.
It should have some form of EMP protection, power armor. But, I mean, that was one hell of an EMP if it could get to a ship and affect it. Because the ship has EMP protection from most stuff, so that's a good EMP.
So, Bert,
Yeah.
where are you?
I would assume I would be helping Obi try to make the repairs.
Okay.
So are we just adrift at the current moment?
Yeah, we're in like a high orbit.
It's going to take about an hour to get things back up and running again. And he was able to determine that the shot came from a satellite, most likely originating from on the planet somewhere. They are the ones who invited us here, so they might have been a trap the whole time.
I couldn't board
You know,
left him.
For the idea of you guys not liking Bert and I torturing that guy, wanting to come back here and nuke an entire planet, kind of makes that one seem a little upsetting.
I believe that one was sarcasm.
Yes, we're not going to nuke the
I
entire
don't know.
planet.
You didn't see the determination in your eyes.
I done killed one planet.
That'd be a good bucket list item, but maybe not this planet. All right. So, do we have any sort of possible communication? We have no lights, no radio.
You've got emergency lights are coming on. The radio is powering up. You've got some weapon systems.
How close is the radio to powering up?
Another minute or so.
Question. You said the EMP came from a satellite?
Satellite, then, but
Yeah, they
from the-
bounced. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. You got it.
No, they shot it from the planet. It bounced off a couple satellites and hit your ship.
Oh, can we just destroy every satellite within a certain radius of ourselves? If there's any, like, in our gun range?
Sure, there's satellites floating around out here. Some space junk too.
Yeah, Big
I mean,
Montana
you
would.
can fire away if you want.
Yeah, Big Montana would climb into the 88 and start taking out anything that could, bounce an EMP towards us. Just popping them.
Mr. Montana, we're using a Flak 88, possibly the most advanced weapon system ever created by humanity. I think every satellite's within our range.
Yeah. Yeah, every satellite and every chunk of space junk who might bounce an EMP signal to us, it's getting lit up.
Well, if Big Montana can add 2 + 2, any object in space is within his range.
Yeah, you see these satellites flying. It's just like a shooting gallery. You're
And
just
it's
firing,
black.
blowing them up. Yeah, just like
It's like I'm playing duck hunt right now.
we flash to Boris, who is in the woods there on his phone. Hello, is this Kreblet? No signal. What?
Paid extra for that.
Was he roaming?
Yeah, no
Don't want to
signal.
know the charges.
I'm going to wait by the radio, wait for it to finish powering up, and see if I can get on the horn.
Big Montana, are you like in the captain's chair, like blasting the shit out of these satellites?
I believe it was a separate chair that we had for the 88.
Okay, so you're in the separate 88 chair?
Yep, because we mounted the original Cadillac steering wheel.
Right, okay. Yeah, you're firing away, and you blow up, you nail a satellite, you can hear somebody behind you going, good shot, yeah, oh, there's another one, coming this way.
Oh, yeah, Big Montana popped that one. Who the hell?
And you see a guy in a cowboy hat, not a cowboy hat, a pirate hat, and like a long jacket. He's like, wait, yeah, we're going to miss one right there. And he points one out as it goes by. Good
Who
shot.
are you?
What do you mean, who am I? Who are you?
Ain't seen you before on my ship. Here's my ship. God damn it, I'm Big
Montana.
Montana.
Yeah. The name fits the belt size.
And
But I think you got
about
them
me.
all. I'm they call me Steve, or the
And-
Traveler, or whatever else.
Okay.
Yeah, I just came for a visit. I mean, it's pretty spacious. I went by the memorial. You got a real nice memorial to an axe. That I don't see that every day, so that was kind of touching. I didn't realize that dwarves had sentimental sides, but it's good to see.
Did you sneak on the ship while we were landed on that?
No, I didn't
What?
sneak. Mm-mm. No, I just kind of showed up. I know I was kind of uninvited, so I apologize for that. But
Was I drunk last night?
It's Q from Star Trek.
drunk last night. You're not
Did
drunk
I,
now?
Did I invite you on shit when I was drunk?
No.
Because I ain't remembering you.
Can we all see him?
Montana's drunk every night.
If you are in where
On the bridge?
Big Montana is, yeah, you see
in the
him. He
bridge.
just,
Mr. Montana, remember, it's rude to show up uninvited and even ruder to show up without a gift.
I don't know about all that, but I don't know how the hell you got on this shit.
I just came for a visit, you know.
Yeah, but how? We're in space, and as far as I know, nobody launched boarding tubes.
Yeah. I mean, you can travel to places you want, right?
Well, I mean, in my ship.
Come on, Big Montana.
You talking about like meditating real hard?
I mean, if that's what you call it.
I don't know what the fuck to call it. It just happens.
Excuse me, Mr. Traveler. How far would you be able to travel at once? Just if you have a desire to travel, is there any limitation to this? What you can bring with you to where you can go?
What I can bring with me, where I can go. There's all these. It's a long mathematical equation that I don't feel like dealing with.
Mhm.
It just depends, circumstances, which way the astral winds are blowing.
Would it be possible for someone like Big Montana to make us appear in another system with the ship and all the crew on board still?
Wow. I would like to see that. I guess that was the reason I came. Yeah,
Uh-oh.
that'll be good.
Give it a try.
Oh boy. What'd you get us into now? Jesus, Dad, you can't even find your own belt loop, and somehow you found us in a different place.
He's already
Dang it.
teleported us.
What in tarnation are you trying to talk about?
What I'm saying, Mr.
This is-
Montana,
Go ahead.
is you might be able to bring your entire ship anywhere in the galaxy you desire with the entire crew on board without using borax or any other fuel source.
Yeah, but wouldn't that like hurt?
No idea.
Pain is temporary, right?
Pain is temporary, fame is forever. Let's
Yes.
do it.
Exactly. Listen to Clamp Hands. He knows what he's talking about.
Ernie, does it hurt to teleport?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Does it hurt when you teleport?
No.
See there, Pop? Doesn't hurt Ernie at all. He must have got it from you.
It might give us a huge advantage in the battle against Sindoom as well. If you can somehow teleport something like a battleship right to the correct area when needed.
Yeah, just do me a favor. Don't think of the center of a star when you do it.
But I mean, like, last time I did the whole, hippity hoppity, all of a sudden we're the fuck over here. My head hurt real bad.
You're still alive.
I got me a powerful migraine, it just didn't feel good.
You want a couple of ibuprofen beforehand?
Now, keep in mind, too, that was just you and me and the Cadillac that I moved in. It hurt that bad. That ain't that much, Could you imagine moving all of this?
You got to get the technique right. See, when you go to teleporting, you got to put your fingers right here on your forehead like that there Goku spiky-headed feller and do it the right way. You got to.
That's not teleporting. That's transmission. And now move your big state ass and get us the hell out of here with your magical mind bullshit.
There also is one thing to take into account as well. We're in space. We don't have gravity. We were on land there when it hurt before.
And we could die.
We can always die.
I think it was less about the whole gravity side of things. I think it was more about the taking objects and putting them somewhere else.
Hey, Dad.
Well,
what's 8 times 8 times 8?
I don't know. Sounds like you're an asshole that needs a calculator.
Okay, then it wasn't the gravity. It was just you having a headache.
So all you guys now on the bridge?
I would say at this point, given that there's a stranger on the ship, that nobody knows how he got here. Probably would have called everyone else up for security.
Out of curiosity, would Star Trek have been broadcasted across space?
Um,
The next generation.
It'd be kind of slow getting to us if it's coming via radio waves of that technology.
yeah, probably. There's probably Star Trek would exist in a certain world, probably on this Earth, maybe.
Okay, that prefaces what my character's about to say. Are you one of them Q failures?
You insulting me with the alphabet now?
No. From the, what's that old TV show? Trek Star? Star Hiker? Star Journey? Star Trek. There's that one little bastard who could teleport everywhere. Just poof and tortured the captain. Is that you?
They get things wrong, so I mean, maybe I had a character based off of me. It could have been true.
Oh my God.
I don't think this character is based on a Q there, Daniel. I think it's based on the Traveler.
You don't say. I found the inspiration.
Oh, how rude! I didn't bring a gift, did I?
Poof, a banana.
Not that we've seen.
And he reaches into his cloak and pulls out a bag. I have a gift for everyone if you would like to take it.
Please be fresh fruit. Please be fresh fruit.
I'll step forward.
And you roll a d20.
Oh boy. So my new character is gonna be.
I had a feeling this was that guy. And now
So
I
that's
know
a natural one.
that guy.
You get a piranha.
I think I was joking about that.
Oh my God, you actually did roll in that one, didn't you?
This piranha. You'll be fine.
You reach in and pull out a big handful of dirt.
Oh, that
Yeah,
looks
he's
so
like,
cool.
that's good soil. Don't waste it.
I can tell it's Earth.
Wow. After the whole planet.
Yeah, they might name a planet after it.
Would come up with a name that dumb for a planet, though. It's so
I don't know.
stupid.
I suppose. Big Montana reaches his hand down in there. By the way, Ernie, that you mentioned torture, we need to have a talk a little later.
I know.
Yeah, Ernie.
You too, Bert. You were involved.
Hey, he's the one that did all the actual violent stuff. I just held him there and made empty threats.
I don't think they were empty, and he was
What?
a POW.
What'd
I
you
was
roll?
writing the check.
11. 1-1.
Okay, you reach in and pull out something wet. It's mud.
What in the Sam hell?
I'm going to see if this guy's got anything good in his bag. I'm going to stick my hand in there.
Small one, 1 or 11.
I got a 2.
Now it's wet dirt.
Isn't that just mud?
It's slightly damp dirt.
I think mud is saturated dirt, like to the point where it can't retain any water. Wet dirt is just wet dirt, and I don't know, it's some stupid. Moving on. That's a different day.
It's vastly overcomplicated.
There is an explanation. It's just not irrelevant. Go
You
down.
pull out a huge can that says Bean Barbecue on it.
Oh no.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
So
God
that's
damn,
all.
he got something good.
Is it Bush's baked beans?
No.
I think I'm the only one left.
What's Obi and Galileo?
I thought Obi already went. My bad.
I'm thinking about it. It's curious. Nothing bad's happened, so I suppose he'll pique his curiosity. He'll reach in. I got an 8.
3d6s 6 times.
So you have one metal robotic hand and one regular hand, right?
Yeah.
Which one do you use?
Uh-oh.
I guess nothing bad has happened. But you always want to chance it. He uses metal arm, just in case something bites him or something. This is metal hand.
As he gets sucked in by a magnet.
You feel some kind of like grinding on your metal hand. You pull it out, and you can see some of the metal has come off. And he's like, "Oh, whoa, that wasn't supposed to be in there. Hold on." And he reaches down in. All right, okay, good. We're good now. Sorry about that. I was wondering where that went.
That's something alive in there?
No.
Or Obi's
No,
line.
I just stopped at the adult bookstore. Next.
I put my
It's the
hand
mouse
back
for
in.
later. It's a mouse. It's the mouse for later.
All right, who's next? Does
Galileo
Galileo want?
still have to go.
I guess if Galileo can, he.
Sure, Obi. I'd love
Yeah.
to.
I knew he'd love to.
He's looking for God.
You got a 6.
Galileo reaches his hand in and he's like, I don't know what it is. Oh, wow. And he pulls out a big handful of worms.
Anybody with mud want some worms to go with their mud?
Who wants
Well,
these?
At least now we can go fishing.
That's true. Put some of these worms in some of you guys' mud, and we'll throw it in the fridge.
Mm-hmm.
As long as Eddie gets string, we can go fishing.
After hearing that, I'm gonna slowly walk up and like slowly put my hand in the bag as ever slowly as I can. All right.
All right.
Let me close the app.
You want me
Open
to
up my
roll
dice
a 20
app.
for you, buddy?
No, you rolled a 2.
Which means he won't roll it again.
And I
Probably.
got the best thing yet.
I got an 8. I got an 18. You said D20, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You pull out a 32-ounce mug filled with bean beer.
No, we don't have
Can I go-
gravity on the ship, remember?
No. I'll try to drink it all before it floats away.
It'll
Okay,
go perfect with Bert's beans in a can.
Okay. If you want to redraw and put your thing back in, that's fine.
Let me see your worms, Obi. Or not Obi, Galileo. I can't tell the two of you apart no more. It's getting weird.
Okay, Montana Big.
All right, Big Montana's gonna just take the worms and mud and just plop them into his cup holder.
I feel a little cheated. I'll try and get a second hand in there.
Okay.
I'm gonna use my metal hand again just in case.
Okay, that's a good idea.
A 9.
Okay.
So one better than last time.
Nice. Still improvement.
You feel a shock, and you pull your metal hand out, and your hand's got the shakes now.
This guy's trying to kill me. I'm going back to the repairs.
As soon as
After it,
Obi says that out loud.
Art, you put that thing away before I put it where it don't shine.
He tried to kill Obi.
He did not. It didn't try to suck Obi's arm in.
That'll go away. Don't worry, that'll go away in time. I'll fix that. I'll fix it.
You
I'll
better.
fix it.
I'm gonna chug my beer and ask if I could reach another.
You're gonna put the beer back in, or you're gonna keep drinking the beer?
I said I was gonna chug the beer and then
Okay.
ask kindly if he'd let me reach in for another.
Okay. So as you do that, you see the it starts to fill itself back up again.
Screw that! This is mine.
I think I'm going to return this dirt. It reminds me a bit too much of this planet we just came from.
Okay. All right.
I'll keep the worms and dirt and mud. I'll save them for fishing. We
That's
gotta
a
go back to that
19.
water plant anyway.
What'd you get?
19. Don't kill me. Please
Okay.
don't step on Snack.
Let's see. Roll me a D6.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh. You're dead. Good luck. It's
Oh,
been
that's
fun.
my new character. I've decided it's going to... Oh, that's a 6.
All right, you reach in, you're like, what's this? And you pull out a little piece of cardboard with some plastic packaging, and it's a small figurine of Galileo. It's an action figure.
That's awesome.
I didn't know they made
Oh, he's
Galileo
like,
action
man,
figures.
that's the rare one. You better hold on to that.
Wait, you could even get it autographed. We've got the real Galileo.
Good.
What's the collector's value on Space Bay?
Keep it in packaging.
It's mint. Right now, it's mint.
Yep. I'm going to check online and see if I can find the Space Bay of the Galileo action figure.
You mean, well, it's off in an EMP?
I will give you
I'll wait till
a
we're
no.
out of the EMP.
Yeah, you can have a no roll at some point. Find out.
With an autograph. Don't forget the autograph.
Yeah, I have to check and see if autographs are worth more than unautographed. We don't know how many of these things Galileo signed, or if they could stop him from signing them all.
He's like
Independent conventions. He signed a bunch.
he's like Johnny Manziel trying to put his way through college, and here you go.
If I
For the
sell
two
both-
people who got that reference, thank you.
What if I sell the Galileo action figure signed by Galileo with Galileo?
Hey, you're
What
not
if you
selling
sell
Galileo.
One Galileo included.
I'm still waiting on you to fix my Obi. I don't much appreciate you shocking my Obi with the bag.
And it's my fault for being curious and reaching in there.
It happens. There's, just a lot of stuff ends up in here. I mean,
You said they're gifts, and then you shot
yeah,
Obi.
but, some people view them as gifts, some don't. I mean,
Here, let's try it. You touch my axe. Go ahead, touch it.
you really want me to?
Touch it. Shocking Obi.
Or it's
He
just
tou-
being an asshole.
He puts his hand on your axe.
All the magic is gone.
Nice axe.
Wow, that's impressive.
Dang it, I was hoping it'd shock
We
me
didn't
back.
just get married or something, did we?
No, I was hoping it'd shock
Okay.
me back, some bitch.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna chug my beer one more time and then
Mhm.
hand it to Obi and say you can have this since you just got pain. I got drunk.
Okay, I really don't drink that much, so it's a better item left for you. Maybe you can share it with Pops.
No,
Hey, Dad.
no.
It's the
Hey,
state of life
Dad.
he likes to be in.
Oh,
Don't
sorry,
do it.
I was checking the spicy meal.
Hey, Dad.
But
You want a beer that never ends? I
well,
had two.
I ain't gonna say no.
Try some. Here you go.
Yeah, big Montana chug it.
Yeah, it comes right back. Fills right back up again.
Damn, that's pretty handy.
This seems more like your speed.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And that's how the campaign derailed.
In thunderous alcohol.
Bean beer.
On a 2-week bean beer bender.
Yeah, that's yours now. Ernie's
Oh,
just gonna go, you
okay,
deserve these.
I mean, I don't know if Ernie and I, Bert and I just got married or not, but can I get a tour? I mean, I'd like to have a tour of the ship. I mean, it looks pretty
Well,
interesting.
knowing the family history of sudden marriages, I would say there's a high chance that you may have just married Bert.
Wait, what?
And you
don't
would,
have to-
well, you're I would have to ask for your permission too, right?
Well, I don't give a fuck what he does, so sure.
I did not say I do. You just touched my axe. I was hoping it'd shock you, some bitch.
Well, you
Hey,
did
there might
ask him
be a
to touch
culture
your
out
ass.
there that's
I
considered.
mean, listen,
you know,
listen to the banter between us. We sound like an old married couple already.
Did
You
he
have to
touch just the
consummate
tip?
us.
Welcome to the family, brother-in-law.
It's good. It's good to feel good to be a Montana.
I'm jealous. You're
I'll
so
get-
lucky you get to be part of this family.
If you want, I can give you the tour.
Yeah, all right. Let's have a tour. I'd like to see the sights.
I figured you can magically poof. I can magically poof. That might make this thing easier.
We can poof together.
All right.
Yes, I'm pretty sure your armor can go ahead and look like a wedding dress if you wanted.
Don't forget the veil, Bert.
You know, Miyoko, if you want the last name, I think Ernie is single.
Error
Have
404.
standards.
Error 404. Ernie not found.
We can have a shotgun wedding. We'll make him stay still long enough.
You didn't have a shotgun wedding. You had an axe wedding.
No,
It'd
me.
be more fun if there was a shotgun.
All right. Where would you like to start for the tour?
Where? I mean, it's your ship. Wherever.
Well, you've already seen the captain's area.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's go to the engine room.
Yeah, let's go. I'm ready.
All right. I'm gonna poof to the engine room.
Yeah, he's already waiting there. Okay, good.
Damn, you're faster than me. How do you do that?
Oh, years of practice. Okay, good. Standard engine room. Okay.
Oh, let's go to the armory.
Okay.
Poof to the armory.
Yep. He's there.
Jesus. Do you get faster with each try?
No. Standard weapons. Looks like you guys are going to outfit an army. Good grief.
Well, Big Montana's the size of 2 battalions, so we got to keep him armored up.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the command bridge. Maybe Miyoko or Obi or Bert, maybe the others would like to join us on a tour.
Okay, good.
Bert probably wants to show you his axe again. Poof.
All right.
well, they were done.
Traveler. Okay.
Big Montana would turn to Obi. So by how long do you think until we're back up and running in full?
I don't know, repairs and everything's going smooth. Come back online.
Well, that should be good.
Hit less than an hour, so however long it's been.
Hell yeah.
I'd say it's probably around 15 minutes.
Oh, by the way, everybody, I got these messages here from Jim, I guess. Apparently we were picking up signal when we were on the planet. But apparently Jim's under house arrest on the Iron Skirt. We might need to deal with that. The deviants and slash Sindoom fuckers have him all locked down there.
We'll have to make our way out there then.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe we
Tech Leg needs us.
Yep. Maybe we drop off this blue feller and then we bounce right over to the skirt and get him. Maybe grab another Sisters of Karma battleship. Or not battleship, but ship in general. You know, get them to come with us and tell them that we're on our way to go blow up some fucking Sindoom fucks. I'm sure they'll enjoy that.
They usually seem to.
It would greatly depend on contracts if you're able to get one with them. They might be willing though.
Well, we're all on the same. Like, we're on the same team now, right? So
It's complicated.
Them now, but
I really don't understand how your chain of command does things. So like, how do we get them to come and help us blow shit up?
Well, you normally have to go ahead and let them know a good deal ahead of time that they're going to have ships diverted to there.
How are you supposed to deal with an emergency then? You gotta wait a couple days?
Well, we have rapid response forces available, but you have
That's
to.
what we need.
you have to contact them ahead of time and say that you might need a rapid response force.
Why don't we contact one of them and say, tell them to go with the skirt? Hell, the
Maybe
skirt
because-
would be a good thing for you guys. It's a pretty well-armored battle station, you know.
Yes, but it's also right in the middle of Sindoom space. I'll have to examine
Exactly,
the
it's
skirt and
a-
see what it has, but
It's a forward operating base.
that can easily be destroyed by the dozens of battleships and carriers Sindoom has available to them.
Well, it might need some sprucing up, but
Plus, we have no way to keep a supply line open to it in any reasonable fashion.
we all got one of them crystals and one of them their connector deals. You can plop that bitch on a bulk freighter and get supplies a rolling.
As well as crew and then defensive capabilities, not to mention defensive for logistics agencies. And then we also have to remember it's still just a space station at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, but you send that, bulk freighter with enough guns in the hold to remount on the station, you got more firepower than a battleship.
Not quite, no. The battleship can be armed with quite a bit.
Nah, I think you can strap a lot of guns on that old girl. She's got a lot of girth.
Have to see her, and then I'll be able to tell you more. But it's worth looking at, if nothing else.
Well, as soon as we're back online, we're jumping back to get this blue feller off the ship because I made a promise to his uncle.
Yeah.
Is he waking up at all? Have we heard anything from Emma?
You haven't heard anything from the med bay.
Maybe would you like me to send a couple of people down to check on Emma and them?
Yeah. Make sure that blue feller ain't waked up and freaked out and done a whole bunch of weird shit.
I'm gonna get on internal comms and tell her. Would a couple of you mind going to check on the doctor and make sure everything's okay there?
Yeah, they said, yes, we will.
They're so lively and happy.
Almost like
Definitely not in a state of panic.
But by the way, Bert and Ernie, y'all pull some shit like that again, torturing a POW. We ain't animals, you motherfuckers. Now I tell you, you do that again, I'm likely to call your mamas and let them straighten your asses out. I'm sure she's in my Rolodex somewhere. If I sit down and try it long enough, I'll find her.
I don't give a shit.
Two questions. Two things. One, didn't know we were at war. That's my mistake. Won't happen again. And two, how in the... I know.
War. That's just fucked up.
I told you I wouldn't do it again. I'm sorry. All right. That's part of the first one. I'm sorry. Won't do it again. Two, you don't. You don't know my mother. Your Rolodex 10,000. You probably don't even know the first letter of her first name.
I will find her. Trust me. I can also do that whole thing where I sit down and think real hard, and I can probably find her.
I don't. I'm gonna kill every Sindoom son bitch we come into contact with, and if they don't want to give me information first, I'll hurt them and then kill them.
Now, there's a difference, though. If we're fighting, yeah, kill the fuck out of them. Beat them up, cut them apart. That's part of you staying alive versus them staying alive. But if you got a totally helpless man, there ain't no use cutting him up into little pieces if he ain't going to talk anyway. At that point, he knows he's going to die, so he has no incentive to talk. Now, you look at my good buddy Nash over there. I'll guarantee you he was originally not willing to help us. But then I presented him with a better employment opportunity, and he was able to come through for us big.
There's also the problem that if we torture someone and cause them great bodily harm, then Sindoom will do the same thing to our prisoners if they're captured.
That too, yeah.
It also violates a few rules of law, and it also goes ahead and puts you down as rather difficult people to work with in the future if you're going around torturing others.
But we need every job we can get our hands on.
Well, at least on my end, mistakes were made.
Let's
More
avoid
than a
any
few.
further mistakes.
I swear to Christ.
Sindoom bastards, I'll just cut their fucking heads.
I swear to Christ, y'all do any fucked up shit like that again, I will send you to your mamas. I'll do my whole brain, thinking real hard, finding that temple thing. I'll find him. I'll fucking send you straight to her and let her bait your ass. I'm pretty sure both your mamas were scary women. And why do you think I left them?
We have the same mama, dumbass.
Exactly.
Let's get this traveler fella and get you in the workshop. I'm about tired of listening to his mouth.
Oh, where are we going? Workshop.
Oh, yeah, my buddy Modric. He's been down there. He's seen the memorial.
Yeah, I've seen the memorial. Nice.
Go back down there. Modric's got some cool shit in there.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go down there. Are we going to teleport down there? Or are we going to walk?
Can you teleport me, or Ernie can teleport me, I guess?
My phone's at 1%. So with my final will and testament, I would like to. I don't know if I have to. I think I have to use an exert point or a hustle point for this, but I'll teleport.
You use an effort, but you have like 8, and they come back at the end of the scene. So.
Oh, okay. Then I'll use an effort and teleport anyone who wants to go with us down to the workshop, and then that's pretty much where I have to go. And I don't want this thing to cut off in the middle of dialogue.
All right. So you guys teleport to the forge.
Oh, and one more thing.
Nope.
Second thought, it wasn't that important.
I think you timed that.
Yes.
One more click.
He's like, gosh, forgot how hot it was in here. Oh, boy.
What?
Gee whiz.
He gone.
Is he charging his phone, or was not keeping up?
He might not have a charger where he went.
Yeah, I don't know what his situation is.
Probably going to try to fix his computer and iPad. He said they were both having some kind of update bug.
Oh dear. I think you two are in the engine bay, and whoever else went with them.
But we're at the forge. So
The forge, I mean.
yeah. The traveler and Bird are in the forge. Modric is just kind of ignored. He maybe he notices you come in, but he's just working away. He's ignoring. He's focused on what he's doing.
What you making over there, Modric?
Yeah. And he's just like tinkering away. It looks like he's making some kind of weapon. The reports from the med bay is that Hesh is up and moving about and talking.
Better go down there and talk to him.
Okay, so you head down to the med bay. He's sitting talking to Dr. Emma. Your Sindoom guy is kind of sitting there like they're just having a conversation. It's Big
Yeah.
Montana. You're the one who saved me.
Yeah, your uncle was powerful worried about you. He feels real bad that he wasn't able to do nothing, this 100 years or so. But y'all
100
ain't
years.
Yeah, that's how long you've been out. Ish, give or
Man.
take. We weren't quite sure if that math was exact, but they're kind of on a not very technologically advanced planet, so they couldn't exactly come and get you.
Wow. Well, I never thought I'd need saving, but I guess I did.
Yeah, you were in quite the pickle. We found you all stuffed up in some foam.
Yeah, I had to get off that
Spando
ship. It
phone.
was about to blow up. Found an escape hatch and left.
Ah. You've been lying either floating through space for about 100 years and landed on that there planet, or you've been laying on that planet for 100 years. Not sure which.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But yeah, it's a good thing you're back. I got this necklace that's yours.
Oh, that necklace.
Your uncle gave it to me to help find you.
Yeah, I kind of purposely left that behind. But I guess I should wear it anyway.
Yeah, and then we got your trident. I don't know where they ran off with it. I think he was
He
having
reaches
our
his hand
blacksmith
out
look
and
at
it appears in his hand.
Oh,
yeah, it's
well,
right here.
There you go.
I was wondering where she went.
He's an Eldritch Knight.
Interesting. You can just do that. I got a boy who can do that just like that, kind of only with an axe. He just kind of poofs and it's there. That's pretty neat. I'd say that's a pretty good trick.
Mm-hmm. So we off to get the Vermeerge. You needed somebody on your ship.
No, the Vermeer's all dead.
They're all gone.
Yeah, that's what Sindoom says. Not that I trust Sindoom, but that was before Sindoom turned into a right bundle of assholes. Yeah. Mainly, we're about to take you back to your uncle because he's powerful worried about you.
We're going back to Hydrus?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I done made your uncle a promise that I'd come and find you. In return, he did me quite the big favor of keeping some people from taking a man that is a good friend of mine.
I haven't seen Hydrus in so long.
Yeah, I imagine it'd be quite the reunion. I bet everybody there would be excited to see you after you've been missing for about 100 years.
Of course they will.
Yep. I'll have to throw a big old party.
At least.
Mm-hmm. Then Big Long Sam's going to turn to the Sindoom guy. I'd like to thoroughly apologize for how you were treated. I was not aware that you were captured. Had I known, things would have turned out differently.
Oh, you're talking about the arm? It's no
Yeah.
big deal, man. I got another one.
I'd say it's a pretty big deal.
No, don't feel a thing.
Well, yeah, you kind of lost all the nerves on that end. I'm pretty sure there's several
Clean.
bits
Look,
that
you
are
see that?
supposed
It's a clean cut.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure there's several bits that are supposed to make you feel pain there that don't exist no more.
I put like a cybernetic one on, like your buddy that runs around. Like I'll be like him. I could be like his brother.
Well, I don't think I'm your daddy by no means.
You're not?
He isn't certain.
You know, I
No,
never thought about that, but now that you mention it,
Nah, I don't know. Who's your mama?
you got access to like a space terminal. I'd like to send in my DNA to check.
As much as I'm curious about that, given that you're a Sindoom feller, and Sindoom does not like us, I think it's best that you don't go sending messages out. Just for now.
Right. Yeah, well, they get a little touchy about stuff sometimes.
Yeah, just a
But
little
if
bit.
you were my dad, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I'd be kind of honored. You got your own spaceship, and you're moving through the galaxy, and you don't take orders from Sindoom. You know?
That is a big bonus. Now, here's another thing too. I would like to extend to you my, sincere apologies and offer you a position on this here ship. We are in need of another janitor.
A janitor.
Yep.
Wow. I never thought you'd ask.
The honor.
Well, welcome aboard. Now, if you do
When
happen
do I
to know
start?
any other, whenever you feel like you are, done healing from your deal, I'd say your first form of payment would be to get that new robot arm like you're talking about. That's what would pay you in first to get you a new arm.
Yeah, you could put like a big duster head on it, and I could just go.
Yep.
Give him a mop
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Be like different attachments.
It's
Yeah,
hollow on the inside, so you can treat it like a vacuum hose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I would appreciate it is after you get feeling better. If you have any
Well, I
more-
feel
any more,
great right now. I'm
How
ready
many
to go.
drugs is he on, Emma?
She just kind of gives you a sideways look, like a lot.
Yes.
Well, you see, that's going to wear off eventually, and you probably ain't going to feel real good. But if you do have any more information about Sindoom that might be handy if you're privy to any information like what they might be planning, that would be very good.
I will. I'll tell you that.
All right. Just knock on my cabin if you ever, think of something that you remember.
I will. Before you leave, though,
Yes.
can we just
Yeah.
share a hug? I mean, I know you're not my dad, but you could be. But like a stepdad kind of way, but not in like a stepdad hug, like a real hug. You know what I'm saying?
I suppose. Big Montana kind of like sauntering over, give him like the one arm father hug kind of thing.
Yep. Gives you a hug. Oh, just just it's hot in here. Hot, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Have a cigar and make you feel better.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah. Pops, take care.
Yep.
Things Big Montana does to try and avoid paying alimony.
All right. Well, Hesh, if you feel better, you're welcome to wander
great.
wherever you want on the ship.
You
You know,
I'm the god of no shirts, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I have me a recent feeling of no shoes. I'm that kind of fella.
Not bad. That's your thing. That's cool. Yeah, well, Vermeer's, I guess, are gone. And I'm headed back to Hydra, so I don't have to try to figure out how to get back. I mean, this is just great.
Yep. Your
Got
uncle's
my trident back.
your uncle's a good man. He done put a lot of strings for you.
Right, but nobody, had you talked to anybody, you ever hear from like a little short guy with a little snout? Scuttlebutt? Did you ever run into him? Did he send? What about a big tall guy who would sing a lot?
No, can't say I met that one of them.
Right? No,
No,
they didn't.
just your uncle.
It was an ape-looking guy.
No,
None
I
of
ain't
them?
seen no
None of
monkey people.
Hmm.
Yeah, just your uncle.
Interesting. Well, they're probably doing other stuff.
Yeah. I'm sure they had some other, engagements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. Just if you need some help, I'll just I can help out. I mean,
And get me.
we get in the scrap, I can handle myself. And
That sounds good.
okay.
All right. Well, we should be getting power back anytime soon in full, and we can boogie on over to Hydra's.
Okay, good. And I'd like some of what you're drinking.
Oh yeah, and Big Montana, hold on the mug.
All right.
There's plenty to go around.
That family reunion was so beautiful.
Okay, so the power has been restored, and where you want to go next?
Fuck these guys. I'm not staying here if we don't
The
have to.
Traveler is still. Bert, are you taking him anywhere else?
Not really. I can't think of anywhere. But I'm trying to decide what Bert's going to do about this injured Sindoom guy since Pop's got on to me for not killing him and torturing him and shit. I'm just going to roll a D4. And if it's odd, I'm going to let him live. And if it's even, I'm going to walk up there and end his suffering. It's a 4. Bert's going to feel all guilty about torturing this guy and go up to the med bay and put him out of his misery.
Well, last I knew, we're all standing in the med bay. If you show up with an axe in hand, Big Montana's gonna have some words for you.
If you're still there, then go ahead, because here I come down the hallway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you see Bert coming down the hallway with his axe.
Big Montana's gonna draw his revolver. Don't even think about it.
What? I can't understand. A minute ago, you were mad as hell because I tortured that sumbitch. And now I'm gonna go up here and give him the mercy of ending his suffering. And you're mad about that too. I don't know what the fuck you want me to do. I can't give him his arm back.
Well, actually, technically, you can. You could pay for his cybernetic replacement.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
The door opens to the med bay, and he walks out. I hope you're not arguing over me. Hey, it's you. Man, I want to thank you. You know, you gave me a new life for cutting off my arm, and now I can be a janitor on this ship, and I can put an attachment on here. It's going to have a little duster and a vacuum. I mean, I'm fulfilling my lifelong dream because of what you did. So I really want to thank you.
You mean this jackass has got me feeling all bad about cutting your arm off for nothing?
Feeling all bad? No, you shouldn't be.
You know what? If y'all need me for something, I'm gonna be in my room. I'm fucking done with this shit. I'm just gonna put my axe up and go.
Is there a lot of dust in there? Should I start there first?
No, don't come in my room.
Okay, I will. I
understand.
understand.
Take it easy. Now, Bert, he could have been the two-armed janitor. It's like you're going around the corner.
He's fucking happy. Shut your trap.
All right, we'll bounce on over to Hydrus.
Yep, I think 2 jumps is in order for that.
Yep.
So, yeah, you guys are getting ready to do the spike jump. And the traveler is in the main bridge, and he's like, you guys are going to spike out of here using the spike drive?
That's
Yep.
the idea.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm good. I will, I'm out of here. Good luck with that.
Sure you don't want to come?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
What's wrong?
Nothing, fine. He straightens his coat. He puts on like a big mask. Okay, Burger, I probably should get going. Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I guess I'll go back to the planet and hang out for a while. I think there's some movies coming out I want to see.
There's a Russian dude that we left out in the forest that you could probably talk to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's a Russian?
That's what he said he
feeling
was.
pretty bad since we stole his Caprice Classic.
Yeah.
Replace one in that good old bag of yours.
Okay, well, maybe I'll put something in there for him. Okay,
All
well,
right,
yeah, yeah, good luck with the spike drive, and I wouldn't jump with those crystals. And he vanishes.
Yeah, Dad, I trust him about as far as we can throw him.
I don't know. Typically, when someone's, poofing around in magic shit and has a magic bag, and they say not to use some crystals, it sounds like it's probably a good opinion to listen to.
Oh, I agree with that completely. I just don't trust him when we said we were going to spike drive and he went ahead and was rather, everything is fine.
Oh, yeah. Do we got any borax left? Did we like empty our tank before we put that crystal on there?
Technically, we never emptied the borax tank, so we should still have the full borax load.
Let's use our borax. He said don't use the crystal. I don't feel like pushing our luck. We've not exactly had the greatest track record with magic-y, funky shit.
Yeah, let's avoid that if we can.
Yeah.
And we'll do a borax jump. God, I feel so primitive.
Go back to the good old days. Bust out the borax. Okay, you do 2 jumps. You go into the metadimensional space. You rest 1 hour.
Yep.
Second, Hydrus.
Roll for new characters, everyone. The ship is destroyed from borax.
Second, metadimensional space. All right, Big Montana.
Yeah.
I need you to roll a D100.
Ooh. Where'd my D10s go?
Don't do it. He's just making you roll dice to make you feel bad about your tiny penis. I mean, yeah, go for it.
That's a 76.
Uh-oh.
The best year.
All right.
You rolled a 76.
Give me a D4 roll.
Oh,
All
shit.
That's a toot.
Okay. So you do these jumps, and once you're headed to Hydrus, as you see the blue ocean of the planet, sparkling waters, Big Montana, you feel real tired, like
God
exhausted,
damn.
like kind of like you walked extra quick to the latrine one time, and just,
Mm.
But yeah,
Yeah,
you
cleanse
feel very
myself.
you're very winded.
God dang, I need me a nap.
What?
A nap.
Would
I'm
you like
powerful
to lie
tired.
down?
I think all that fucking magic-y bullshit's getting me all wore out. That
We're,
one dude did say not to overdo it, and we did use it a lot in the last couple of days.
we're about to drop off the nephew here. Would you like to lie down beforehand and we can stay in orbit for a while, or?
Yeah, let's just kind of make a slow, lazy drift down. Let me get a nap before we get all up in that, whole conversation thing, so I can use my words right.
Okay.
Because right now it's just not coming to me very good.
Okay. And I'm gonna try and plot a course that takes a little while, Peter.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you kind of take the scenic route.
Yeah.
Yep.
Around Hydrus, exploring all the ocean blue waters.
Isaiah falls asleep.
I have to reorganize a bunch of dice. I jumped my box.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Yeah, a whole bunch of.
All right.
Bunch of dice.
You see the palace that you saw before, and the pontoons, and
Oh,
you
heck, it's still a
land in
dump.
the same spot, and you see Toontar headed your way, walking towards you.
He's gonna be powerful excited.
Does he look powerful excited?
He is walking with a purpose.
Nice.
Yeah,
He's bullshitting.
We'll set her down and Hash, why don't you come up to the ramp, and that way you can have that beautiful reunion moment with your uncle.
Oh yeah. Not a problem. So Toontar is standing there, and you see Emma there, and Emma hands her like Emma hands Hesh a piece of paper, and he puts it in his pouch. I'll call you. And he starts walking down the gangplank, like chest out. The God of No Shirts has returned. And you see a big cheer from like 5 Jawas. Yay! Watini!
No! The infection has begun.
And they bring out this big cake. Toontar gives him a big hug, and he's all happy. And he runs over to you, Big Montana, gives you a big hug. You've done it! You've brought my nephew. You've returned him.
Oh, I made you promise. I'm a man to keep my word.
And I keep mine. I am now your servant. And he bows before you.
Oh.
What do you wish of me?
Well, I can't say I never had like a proper servant type man before.
Review vacation.
Well, yeah, there's I think it'd probably be good if y'all stayed here, if you stayed here, and then like when we come down, we just get like the best of all the benefits around here, that like some just proper relaxation around here. That'd probably be a good thing. If you don't have to pledge yourself to me or nothing, but like when we come back around here every now and then, you pretty much just have a big old party. You like that idea? I think that idea sounds good.
I will have party for you every time.
With
My Jawas will prepare.
Oh, you managed to domesticate those bastards? I didn't think that was possible. God dang.
I added water. They multiplied.
Oh no!
Oh Lord. But you got them doing shit for you? I ain't never
They drank
seen
from
that.
ocean.
Oh Jesus! they're salt multiplying. That's even worse.
Yeah, that's a lot of Jawa.
How
We're gonna throw
many
an
Jawas are you up to now total?
5.
Yeah, but they're multiplying in salt water. That 5 is quickly going to become 5,000.
Yeah, you may need to curb their numbers before they outnumber you.
Or if not, at least their enthusiasm.
Well, just think of this, Big Montana. Last time we were here, you're complaining that there wasn't any meat. So
That is true.
if their population
I
spikes,
don't think
they-
Jawa tastes real good though.
Excuse me, would you happen to know if the Jawa tastes good this season?
it's all about how you feed them.
I don't know about that.
Do you want me
one.
to separate some for you to sample later when you return, Big Montana?
I don't know.
Are these
I don't
corn-fed natural Jawas, or are they getting a bunch of, weird shit in their food?
You know,
They seem to
I've
have.
always thought they're like rats.
Well, there is a certain gaminess about them.
They seem to have special powers, and as he says that, he looks and sees there's only 4 of them, and then you see Emma pushing one, grabbing one by the scruff, leading him down. No, you're not allowed on board the ship.
Wait a second. That explains so much. And the Jawas shall inherit the earth. That's what the message meant. I was wondering. Well, I think we've done something horrible to this world, Big Montana.
I know. I'm scared. The natural order of things has been restored.
Wow, nice.
Oh, I'm so happy. Are you more comfortable now?
Oh yeah.
That's what happens when he falls asleep on his dice tray.
And that's why it don't sit in my lap. It sits on the couch next to me. But
Roll
I
for
fell down.
initiative.
I fell down last night trying to scoot around the edge of the couch, and I lost my balance and fell, and my palm landed on one end of the dice tray and sent them all flying.
Oh man.
Yeah. And then I just lost my batteries.
So there's now a big crowd around Hesh as he is talking to everybody, regaling him of his great stories about being in some strange world and fighting a Leviathan and, going to strange places and fighting these strange squid-like lobster creatures. And, he's got them all enthralled, like they're all cheering.
He sounds like he's full of shit.
Is that what them Vermeers thing that they're everybody was talking about for a while? That they're big squid-like crab things?
Oh, kind of crabby more than squid. Yeah, I don't believe a word this guy's saying. I think.
How the fuck did we lose to a bunch, or was we getting our asses kicked by a whole bunch of that crabby squid thing?
They had level 6 technology.
Don't y'all remember like the Dead Planet when we fought the big squid-looking thing?
Squid look. I don't remember a squid-looking thing on the planet. You talking about the real big fucker?
Yeah, everything there had like tentacles and shit like a squid, and then there was that big fucker with the crab hands. And
I'm not sure.
some of that weird shit we fought.
Maybe. While we're partying due to Hesh's return, Big Montana would describe the whole scene to him of us fighting the big shadow thing on the planet, see if it sounds familiar to him at all.
To who?
To Hesh.
Oh, yeah,
And his uncle,
yeah.
because his uncle's been around for a long time.
Yeah, I think I fought one of those too, man. Whoa. Brutal.
Yoko was absolutely enthralled by this, as she was not there for any of it.
I took my trident and had to throw it right at it. Went right through it. Electrified it. Came right back.
That's quite an impressive trident.
It is. Well, it's thrown by me. I'm the god of no shirts, of course.
Oh, I can
throw it and it comes back.
Yeah.
You need to teach me that shit. Maybe I can do it with this, and I'll summon my dark matter axe.
I don't know. I mean, What's your axe made out of? Dark matter?
I think so. Like, I had an axe, and then I cut this orb thing up with it, and a piece of that orb got in my arm, and now when I think about my axe comes back. But my axe ended up breaking because that thing was made out of dark matter and had like a black hole inside of it. It was some weird shit.
You had an axe? Oh, I see. It was that memorial. You had a dwarven axe. Yeah, no wonder why I broke.
Oh,
Don't let Modric hear you say that. I showed
is
him.
Modric with us?
No, he's on the ship on the Forge.
I
Oh,
showed him your
Yeah,
trident,
he's pretty
asked him if he
antisocial.
knew anything about it, and all he said was it was junk made by a dwarf.
Yeah. My trident's here. His axe has a memorial.
Oh,
So I'm saying. And I'm saying.
In all fairness, I did kill a whole planet with his axe. I mean, it was epic. You killed any planets without your trident?
No, I haven't had the chance.
Maybe if you killed a planet, that trident would break too. I'm just saying. And I mean, look, you know, part of the axe is still here.
Is that a challenge?
Challenge of what?
To destroy a planet. Like, you think. Okay.
Yeah, you go destroy a planet with your trident. I want to see that shit.
We'll see what I can do.
he leaves. 2 hours later, he comes back. Planet's
By
gone.
the way, there's actually like some merit to your whole conversation there about, you know, the whole possibility of throwing your axe. You know, I've noticed you do a lot of running, and then by the time you get there, sometimes the thing you were going to run at is dead.
I know, it's obnoxious.
Well, we got a semi-controlled environment here, and we got power armor that, you know, lets us just jump in the ocean. Why don't you just like drop your axe off the edge and then see if it goes down, and then if you can bring it back?
That doesn't seem as neat as throwing it at something.
Well, yeah, but if you throw it, then we got to try and find where it landed if it doesn't come back, and that just seems like a whole lot of hassle.
Less hassle than jumping and sinking to the bottom of the ocean.
Well, but then you ain't got to find it. Then, you know, it just went straight down.
Unless it hit a current.
Current drug it.
Well, but what if you throw it and then it hit a curtain? Then you'd be even more fucked.
What if I throw it at that wall over there?
What, you don't want to break their wall?
Yeah, your axe seems to just melt through objects.
Probably best not to break their wall. They do get
Yeah.
a bit testy about these things.
Yeah, these people are our friends. We're like their local heroes now.
If I drop it, will you go get it?
If it doesn't come back, yeah.
All right, hell with it. And I just drop it off the edge.
Let's see. So you just take it and like try to release it out of your hand.
Yeah.
It drops. It hits the water. You see it go in the water.
Now I'm going to try to call it back.
It appears in your hand.
Oh, shit.
Oh, see, there you go. Now you can throw it at motherfuckers and not get so tired.
I was thinking about trying to get Ernie to show me how he does that teleport shit, but that seems a little weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't fuck with it. I think it fucked him all up in the head.
Yeah, it definitely fucked him up. I don't know about the head, but his hands is gone and shit. I mean,
Yeah,
Oh,
I wouldn't fuck with that shit. That's part of the reason why I ain't trying to fuck with this whole mind thing. I can do that much. I don't want to start losing bits. I got a few bits that I'm relatively attached to.
Also relatively attached to you.
so are we hanging out here for a bit? Because I'm like still in my power armor. I was thinking,
Unfortunately, Jim kind of needs our help.
That is true. You should contact one of the main sisters and find out if they can offer support.
Yeah, who do I need to talk to? You know best. Who's like the one who's ready to get stuff done, like the one that's got gumption. It seemed like a couple of them were just kind of, you know, like hem-hawing it all the time. You know, they're like, well, we don't want to make a decision yet, but we got to make one. So I guess we'll get around to it kind of thing. Who's got
in with that
fire in their loins? Who's ready to jump on the horse and get her done?
Probably Misako.
Masuka.
Oh, which I don't know if she's happy with me.
I think that she'd be probably the one I'd contact first, especially for you, Big Montana.
Oh, this is going to be a phone call.
I know, I'm gonna be right here listening.
Big Montana bust out the compad and call her up.
Obi, come over here.
I'm totally not setting him up for failure. Why do you ask?
Okay, so you call Masuko?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Big Montana.
Hey, how do you feel about going to a space station called the Iron Skirt and helping this feller Jim out, who's in a very similar predicament as me with the whole Sindoom wants our guts, and he's kind of like,
Oh, I thought you were going to say he has all sorts of relationships and many children that he neglects. Continue.
yeah, no, not he's not like that, but that station would probably be a good thing for the Sister Karma to have, kind of as like a forward operating base. You want to help me break them out and fuck up some Sindoom assholes while we're there?
I don't know if let me contact Sadaf and see what she says.
Yeah, let's try and get a bunch of ships, because I imagine they're keeping a space station for suppressed. They probably got at least like 4 ships.
Out of curiosity, what classification of space station is this? Would it be a small one, a large one?
Well, it's pretty big. It's got a whole bunch of docking ports around the bottom ring of it, right? And it's got this big skirt that comes up and down, and it's like armor plating and whatnot.
Well, if it's
Kind of a real
space,
defensible place,
If it's a large space station, we might be able to equip it enough to defend itself. If it's a small one, it would be a pretty easy target for Sindoom. However, considering the fact we don't have the faster-than-light capabilities, it might work as a good refueling point.
That's what I'm saying. Forward operating area,
Out of character, Peter, did we say it was a large or a small space station out there?
I don't know. I never looked. I was about to look at that.
A small space station is like a cruiser size. A large one is like a capital. It's been described more like a capital one so far.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
we call it that.
we were able to dock the big bulk freighter there, like completely
Yeah.
dock it.
If you go ahead and give me time, I'll be able to come up with a defensive battery capable of holding the station. We'll need a minimum of 100 people to crew it, though.
Well, that's kind of what I was figuring Sister Karma people for, like they.
Full of Jawas.
Well, that's what I mean, is the Jawas are a highly effective defensing and mechanical repair force. However, it needs people who can actually fight. Jawas tend to be pacifistic.
They can teleport.
Yes, but they're also pacifistic, though.
A little chaotic.
It's just, but yeah, I'd be down to like Masuka Masuka. I'd be down to like maybe we get a bulk freighter with a whole bunch of guns in it to go put on that station. We like escort it there and then fuck up all the Sindoom people once we get there. I think that's a good idea. Be a good power play, like good flex on Sindoom.
I haven't been able to get a hold of Sadaf. That's kind of strange, but her communications could be down anyway. I think you're going to be on your own. I don't think sisters want to go deep into Sindoom territory and try to outfit a space station. I think that's kind of dangerous.
Why did we sign up to be part of y'all
Isn't
again?
that what's fighting the wars like? Isn't that the whole thing about fighting the wars dangerous? Why do we got to do all the dangerous shit?
Well, technically, the Sisters of Karma, or should I say the MT-20 and Sindoom are not actually at war. No declaration has been made.
Let me see if I can change that. Big Montana's gonna wander down to where we're keeping Jeros.
Okay.
Ask him why he's paying these crazy bitches to not fight.
So yeah, he is in the big dining room, and he's got a big bowl of fish head soup, and he's like looking at the gift, going, "This is really good," and he's like tasting it, going, "Are you sure?"
At least they could.
Oh, Big Montana.
Jeros, how do you feel about reaching out to your MT-20 contacts and declaring war on Sindoom?
Casual war.
Always
you know?
the jokes, Big Montana. Always the jokes.
No, this one's serious. we got to get UPM on board too, of course. But
Big Montana, you realize that I'm under house arrest, right? Like, sort of in your.
yeah, but like you got communications. I ain't stopping you from talking to nobody.
I
Seeing the
understand,
Wi-Fi
but
signal here, it's terrible.
this place is really nice. I don't want to like. Rock
Well, you
the
ain't
boat.
gotta go nowhere. You just talk on people with the phone.
Yeah, but I don't want to, make people mad.
Well, I don't know how you can get any more fucked. You're pretty much just stuck here.
Yeah, they come and take me and put me in a prison.
Yeah,
I arranged under the contract that you're supposed to stay here under my house arrest.
However,
I know
by-
you said that in the contract, but you can't be here all the time. You think those 5 Jawas are going to defend me?
it'll be 50 in
You
a
got
week.
you got all these elf people, and yeah, they do reproduce very quick.
Oh shit! I will be in trouble then.
Yeah, just hide your crackers. They like to steal your crackers in the middle of the night.
Okay.
Do you think your MT-20 contacts would be like open to a war? I don't know how you guys feel about it. Sindoom's kind of been a big asshole recently, and usually when there's a big asshole in the galaxy, everybody's got to go fuck it.
Mr. Montana, can I explain something real quickly here?
Sure.
Sindoom vastly outnumbers us. They have a massive drone fleet. They have a supposed army of automatons.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We get MT-20. We get, I just forgot their name.
UPM.
The UPMs
Yeah,
are
the UPM
useless.
fuckers.
They're near worthless when it comes to warfare.
And who's the other fuckers that are like dick swingers in the galaxy?
I got an idea. If they got a bunch of automatons, why don't we get Galileo to see if he can convince the other automatons to turn on Sindoom?
I don't think they have free will like Galileo.
They don't
does.
have an actual AI like the other. They're much simpler. But the problem we have, of course, Mr. Montana, is that the Sindoom itself is huge. They have massive economic capabilities now, especially more than ever. They dominate most weapon manufacturing markets. And in all honesty, we'd probably be a good deal better off if we continue to weaken them the way we have been. The destruction of 2 battleships is absolutely enormous. Do we have a force count for Sindoom space fleets available?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not currently. You are trying to collect that intel right now, but
Yeah. And that's the weak thing we're waiting. I think our best bet is to continue disabling their fleets in secret. Maybe if we sabotage their ship manufacturing plants, for example, we might be able to cripple their ability to reinforce.
The problem is every time we go to do something like that, instead of just being us in one ship against a whole lot of Sindoom fucks, and that just doesn't go well. People die. That's how I lost my daughter.
Well,
Yeah. I trained with a bunch of sisters at Karma. They seem like fearless warriors, but then they got these chicken shit bureaucrats in charge telling them what to do and shit.
there's a difference between being fearless and being foolish, unfortunately. And
What's the difference?
what's the difference between being foolish and being fearless? Being fearless means that you go ahead and you take care of problems effectively without going ahead and risking anything that will result in your absolute destruction for no purpose.
Oh, I ain't never done that before. Pop always puts us in these no-win situations where we might just die.
That does tend to happen on an unfortunate.
Well, I tend to get intel that says it ain't going to be like, it's going to be dangerous, but it ain't going to be like that dangerous. And then we get there and all hell breaks loose.
That's what I mean. Whatever she's talking about, we ain't never done that before.
Well,
We
the
should
idea is.
try that, I guess, and see if we like it.
Yes, well, our best bet once again is to continue the war of assassins while we can. The weaker Sindoom is when we actually engage them in battle, the better situation we will all be in.
What I'm saying is we just need a little bit bigger pipe to lay when we show up. Like this ship's only got so much pipe to lay, and then, you know, that's about it. We run into like big ships like battleships, unless we're getting the first strike, and you know we're really giving it to them before they know that we're even there. We're kind of fucked.
If we have the funding, there is something we might be able to do. Peter, out of character, because I need to know this. We paid 150, which is the max to employ per day for each of our Sisters of Karma. The 13 we have on our vessel, correct?
Yeah, you played them for 2 months, yes.
Yes. And that's the best you could buy, apparently, according to the book. How does a Sister of Karma compare to your average Sindoom soldier? Especially since I'm buying the best sisters. I'm buying like the Delta Force of Sisters.
Excuse me, I bought the sisters.
Well, I should say we have the vessel itself.
Yeah, you've got them for like 2 months. 2 months, which technically is not 60 days. It's a little bigger, longer than that. Give me a no roll, and I'll give you a bonus die.
Thank you for the bonus die. That was an awful otherwise. That is 11.
Well, seeing that you are a Sister of Karma, and you have been trained by Sisters of Karma,
yes.
The majority of Sindoom soldiers you easily outclass. The fear is that Sindoom has other tricks up their sleeve. They have machines, or they have some other bioweapon, or they have usually something that helps tilt the tide of them winning. So mano a mano against regular Sindoom soldiers, they shouldn't have any problem.
And based on the people we saw on the battleship when we went on, here's another question, which I don't know how much we know already, but a battleship can have a crew as low as 200 to up to 1,000. What does Sindoom normally carry on the battleship?
Probably 500-600.
500-600. Our ship at current can carry 120. We can get expanded life support, one of it, to bring it up to 240. If we go on one of their battleships with, say, 210 highly trained sisters via boarding tubes.
And a bird.
And a bird. We do highly outclass most of the people on their battleships. We can easily already take out just about anything smaller than a battleship. A carrier has 300 to 1,500, so once again, we are on probably the ideal vessel, being that's a very stealthy vessel as well. We put boarding tubes and other life support and pay for more sisters. We can capture their battleships.
Have to disable them first.
That
I feel
wouldn't
like
be
going
hard.
in alone is a very risky prospect. We've been kind of rolling the dice a little too hard on the whole lone gun thing. I just don't know how much more comfortable I feel about it. You know, we almost lost the ship last time.
To a degree, however, we do have the advantage in we're a very stealthy ship. And we just fire the boarding tubes, they'll hit the vessel, cut through it, and then they can easily disable the weapons in the bridge.
Maybe. I don't know.
The rules say you have to disable the ship before you deploy the boarding tubes, unfortunately.
Ship without, provided the target's engines have it. Yeah, well, I mean, that's easy enough to do. Fire all guns and then aim the fired guns at the engines. And we have 588s on us right now.
How much do, because main thing we're doing right now is to go and
what are we
rescue
trying to
Jim.
Is
If
Jim
I'm pretty willing to bet there's a.
Or are they under like attack?
They got him on house arrest there, is what I know.
Well, I mean,
scout the place and then turn and burn, smash in there with the frigate, grab him, and jump out again.
Well, the main thing is the ship that he's got there. You know, the Big Bertha. She's quite the capable vessel. She's got a decent size donk-a-donk, and you know, if it's keeping that ship there, you know, whatever they got there is keeping that ship there. It's probably more than one ship. Otherwise, Jim would have tried it already and got the fuck out. He's quick to the trigger like that. He'd have just tried to get out.
Well, they've cut off his supply of borax.
And so, well, possibly, but I still see him trying to get out. Like, if it had been one ship, he probably would float up, blowed a hole in it, sailed right in, and tried to steal their borax or something crazy like that. So if he's not able to get out, it's definitely more than one ship.
Or should we try contacting him?
How much do you charge? Like, do you know how much the sisters charge to send another ship in with us? Like, maybe a free merchant? You guys got a free merchant? How much does that cost to go on a mission?
You talking to Jaros?
Anybody who's got a free merchant that would come with us.
Free merchant.
That's,
There's plenty of locals here that would probably fight for you, Big Montana. I'll tell you that.
They got ships?
I'll put
No.
Let me put an ad out on. Oh, but you got that computer ready?
Always got the computer ready.
I need you to put an ad out on Spake's list for a free merchant vessel looking to do some mercenary work against Sindoom.
with a very long spike jump range.
I'll probably want to leave the Sindoom part out until we get like some potential buyers, because I'd hate for someone from Sindoom to see the ad and be like, "Oh, what? Someone planning attacking us?" I think I'll put an ad up looking for a mercenary, and then once I find one, we can do a little interview and see if they have anything against attacking Sindoom.
If they're not already expecting us to attack them, they're dumber than we give them credit for.
Yeah, that's true, but at the same time, they don't need to see our advertisement and like looking for help.
Looking for free merchant with desire to fight Sindoom. Please call Big Montana located at blah 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 blah. For a good time, call.
Miyoko.
It's the same number as Big Montana. That's weird.
Oh,
So
strange.
this ad, does the ad say to fight Sindoom?
I would not include that in there.
Does the ad mention Big Montana?
Nope.
It just says looking for a free merchant mercenary. Does it say mercenary in it?
Yep, I would look for mercenary. That way they know that it's going to be, combat related.
Not combat related, it's friendly related. We're looking for friends.
So are you having this discussion with Jaros there?
Yeah, he'd be in privy to the conversation. We're all having the conversation right there in the dining hall with him.
We'll allow him to attend.
Okay.
I was gonna swim, but apparently we gotta save Jim again.
All right, you send out your ad. Let's take a 5-minute break right there.
All right.
Here's a question we need to think about, and that is, how do we want to approach finishing the campaign? Because unlike D&D, we're not going to become like heroes of the realm or anything and super OP and shit. We have to rely on technology and other people to help.
Peter's like, you're looking way too far ahead, buddy. I'm just getting started.
Peter's like, I was about to kill you guys all and solve that problem for you.
Well, it's going to determine what we need to acquire over the next while, because we already know we have to do something about Sindoom or all our characters are literally fucked.
Yeah, ideally, Big Montana's goal at this point, after they killed his little girl, is he ideally would like to see Sindoom collapse and create a power vacuum and something else take its place that's better.
Okay, so him and Ada are pretty much the same character at this point then.
I don't know if you guys know this. Obi likes to play, a lot of neutrality. So he's just going to be doing some freelance work once his resume has been built up. So he's not going to try and get involved in any wars, being that he's not a combat person.
Oh, that's cool.
So he's gonna do freelance work. He's gonna buy himself a free merchant, get some robot help, and go cruising around doing tech jobs.
Jobs.
Mhm.
Start an IT company.
Yep, he'll be Geek Squad in space. So hey, if we can find a free merchant that's just sitting there, you know, we can rob that. I'll feel no guilt about that.
Sure, we could go ahead and get you the money for it in a few days. Well,
He's got a decent amount saved up too, but you know, I gotta get all the fittings and stuff.
Mhm.
When we're not playing, I'm building up my own little free merchant ship for Galileo and I. Galileo's my main pilot.
Got to get you that cybernetic enhancement that lets you control a bunch of drones.
yep.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because just thinking about practically, even right now for what we're trying to do, we have to have some idea where we're going to go and how we're going to do it, which we don't really seem to right now.
Yeah, the general idea is to get a free merchant to come with us. So we're at least got 2 ships coming with us, and then we'll get into the station area, activate sensor mask and all that kind of fun shit, get hidden and see what the situation is, and then develop a plan from there.
Okay.
That's Big Montana's plan anyway.
Our plan is to save Jim again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Murder all of Sindoom if possible.
Okay. In that case, we also have to consider funding as well, because our funds are getting a bit skinny at the moment.
Yeah. Depending on how much the free merchant costs, Big Montana plans on throwing a lot of money at it.
Do you need money again?
Depends
No,
on how much the
overall-
free merchant costs.
Still has quite a bit of money.
Yeah. We're going to be needing in the millions pretty damn soon, though.
No, I don't have
So
that.
yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing, is we need to think about... We need to rescue Jim, that goes without saying, but afterwards we then definitely need to start getting some high-paying jobs.
Yeah. We also need to start finding other groups that do not like Sindoom.
I love how we're level 4 and Josh is ready to end the campaign.
What? Oh, I'm not ready to end it. I'm just preparing for all its potentialities and getting ready to go through with it.
Because ideally, like, Big Montana's like dream scenario is we find every motherfucker who has beef with Sindoom, like everyone. It doesn't matter who the fuck they are, what the fuck they do. They could also be shitbags, but we need to collect all the shitbags and have them thrown at Sindoom.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be... We're going to have to go ahead and come up with some good way of... What's the word I'm looking for? Where we're going to get the funding and everything to do this. That's what I'm concerned about, is the monetary problems we have.
Didn't Sindoom denounce like the IWAOS?
Yeah.
We need to reach out to them, and because like, don't they have more control in places that are further away from here?
The UPM areas, definitely.
Basically,
Like-
Sindoom is the IAA.
Oh, they've kind of absorbed them now.
Yes.
They jack that shit.
Rat bastards.
But reaching out to UPM, yeah, I mean, they're pretty much outlaws like you guys, yeah.
Yeah. So Big Montana's plan at this point is to try and get MT20 and UPM on the same page, almost like an alliance between them, and then any other small militaristic groups, get them brought in as well, and pretty much any other smaller groups that don't want to be Sindoom people, and get them all brought together and kind of start like a revolution type deal. At some point after we get some more money, Big Montana will throw a sizable chunk of money at starting to try and create some unrest in Sindoom.
Yeah.
Like paying for espionage agents to go and try and start rebellions and shit like that.
You should have saved Dean. He's great at starting rebellion.
But we need more money for that.
Here's a
But we can
question.
always go back and get him. Kill mine and Borax.
How many major shipyards are in the sector, Peter?
That aren't controlled by Sindoom.
Well, I mean, total number of shipyards. Because we know the Vanguard Nebula shipyards. We know there's a shipyards here in
There's
MT20 territory.
There was one in UPM space that we visited once too.
there's
Was
probably there's about 10 that you would qualify as major shipyard. Vanguard Nebula is the one though.
And what's the production capacity approximately of Vanguard Nebula?
Like
Let's-
how much ships can they produce in so many days or whatever?
Yeah, and let's talk about the ships that matter, which are battleships, carriers, and fleet cruisers.
Yeah, the big chess pieces.
All right, battleship, carriers, fleet cruiser.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Just need to look at the fleet cruiser.
Good sized little vessel.
See what it's relative to.
Normally an uncle or an aunt.
Yeah. Fleet cruiser. Okay.
Folks, I hate to be a party pooper, but I gotta be up in like 6 hours to go to this freaking appointment. So I'm gonna have to bail a little early tonight.
Hey, no problem.
Okay. That's fine. We're doing math right now.
Best
So-
times is when there's math.
So, far as you know, like research and shit like that, you would guess Vanguard Nebula, which is the premier shipbuilding, organization in the sector. It would take them 87 days to do a battleship. It would take them 100 days to do a carrier and 55 days to do a fleet cruiser.
Okay. And in Sindoom's territory, how many fleet cruiser capable shipyards do they have? Fleet cruiser and up.
4.
4. And then for Vanguard Nebula, how much does Vanguard Nebula like Sindoom? Because I know they employed a fuck ton of UPM personnel there.
That would be something you'd have to investigate with
Yeah.
Vanguard. Now, they basically built ships for everybody, so it would be hard to see on the surface who they preferred in higher up.
Right. Were they a corporation under UPM, or were they their own independent corporation?
They were independent. They're technically in like Sindoom territory, but it's like right on the border. Sindoom and UPM always argued over where who they belong to, and they employed a lot of UPM people, so it was a source of contention.
Right. That might actually be where, if it does come to a head in like a full-blown war, that might actually be one of the first places that there's a major conflict at.
Well, what I'm thinking is we find out where their loyalty is and how many personnel are loyal, and we go ahead and try and get a few of the ships they're building for Sindoom to wind up being perhaps stolen by a third party and winding up in the hands of other organizations that are perhaps more friendly to us.
Yeah. Now, of other organizations that we know, like there's that Church of Atlas guys, I think they were called.
There's also Diamond Courts might be able to be persuaded to come to our side. They seem to like you a lot.
Yeah. Well, what was that church? There was a church of something.
Church of Atlas, yeah.
Yeah. How big are they? Are they just like a little minnow in the frying pan? Or are they
if I'm right, I believe Sindoom put the Church of Atlas in charge
Oh, so they're
Yeah.
they're on the other
with the
side.
Yellow Lens in charge of UPM. They split it between the two of them.
Hmm.
Not exactly our best bets.
I thought they were still doing their own thing. Okay,
What
never
about
mind then.
Sorry Not Sorry? Don't they work for the UPM normally?
Yes.
So we have the hackers there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can't go ahead and exactly get the shipyard on our side, perhaps the hackers can divert the ships to us.
Mm-hmm. While we're waiting for our free merchant Spegs list ad, is there any like broadcasts going on around the sector or anything like that? Any kind of news?
Lazan's gone, I believe.
Lausanne has been shut down. Yeah, they're underground now.
I wasn't sure if they were still broadcasting in UPM space or not.
If they are, you're not picking up any of their transmissions.
And we might be able to make a propaganda station with them.
That's what I'm thinking. We really got to go on the information war at first with this kind of thing.
That requires us to have a huge amount of funding as well.
Mm.
Yeah, so basically he declared the IAI, Sorry Not Sorry, Wholesale Warts, Lausanne, Enchanting Tower, and Backdoor Boogers. He declared you enemies of the sector.
Mm.
Well, the Enchanting Tower is another hacking organization.
No, they are medical people, medical pharmaceutical.
Mm.
They
So
could be very
Sindoom-
useful for Sindoom's bioweapons.
Sindoom's already claiming that they control the sector, like that they're the bosses of everything.
Correct.
Yeah, that's ballsy.
Well, they have the ability to back it up with the black crystals, though I'm not sure how far what our information gatherers will probably let us know at some point is how far we diverted their plans. Because we did destroy a huge amount of their stuff.
The Yellow Lens and Church of Atlas are supervisors of UPM's quadrant.
Mm.
You could also put out some ads looking, or at least put some effort into looking for funders, people that might not want to actually utilize, their resources, but would be behind the cause to financially support us. Someone who might have lots of investment into Borax, and they know that if something doesn't get done, then they're going to lose a lot of their money. So they might be willing to make some donations to, help keep that in line.
Yeah. Basically, what I'm thinking is we need to establish like a temporary republic with all of the other entities in the sector that aren't Sindoom that we can sway to take out Sindoom, and then everything can go back to full-blown capitalism instead of this communism bullshit.
I think we still have the big problem of we have to convince people who at any moment could be completely destroyed without a second thought by Sindoom. The Yellow Lens is an incredibly powerful organization, and I have no idea how Sindoom got them on side. That's a very scary thought. So we have to, again, we need to find the information war, but the things we need to find out are how did they get the Yellow Lens on side?
Because aren't the Yellow Lens essentially pirates?
The Yellow Lens is essentially the remnants of the Vermeerge, the people who were kind of the what would be the best way of saying it, Peter? The slaves of the Vermeerge, or the
they were minions of the Vermeerge, and when the Vermeerge died, they were left to kind of their own devices, and they have taken up whatever was left of the Vermeerge fleet, and are now pirates.
You think battleships are big? The Yellow Lens ships dwarf them.
Mm.
So we need to find out what Sindoom's holding over them.
Well, I think basically Sindoom just offered them a huge chunk of space that said that you can do whatever you want here, and that was good with them.
Maybe, but that seems a bit too simple even for them, though.
I
We're
don't know.
talking about
They don't have a whole lot of like unified leadership if they just, their Vermeer's masters were just poof, no more. They're kind of, I'm kind of picturing that they kind of went a little scattered at first, and then Sindoom was like, hey, we got all this area that you can occupy and do whatever you want with. You guys all want to come here?
that's possible. I also think Sindoom might have taken over being their masters with however they went ahead and took over all of the galaxy. Because we know those votes were bullshit. We saw on the
Well, yeah.
TV broadcast. So they had to have a way to make the votes look legit.
Yeah.
And if they have that, there's nothing that would stop them from making a vermiurge.
No. What do we know of the the sector, or the, sorry, not sectors, shoot. I just forgot what like each individual little square
Quadrant.
is called. Quadrants. What do we know? Are there any rumors about the quadrants that are in essence unexplored? If there's any other entities, like rumors of any entities out there yet, or no? Or ones that have been restricted?
Well, we
Maybe
do know of the
there's-
one place that Sindoom said was an uninhabitable hellhole. That place might be worth investigating.
Because essentially we gotta find everyone and anyone, regardless of how repulsive they are, that is willing to go against Sindoom.
And we have to give them the idea that we can actually win, and not just sending them to their deaths.
No, that was, yeah, you guys went to Infirmum 5, right? Or 4, or which one did you guys go to?
I thought
When you-
Jim went down there.
Yeah, Jim did. So
Yeah, in fact.
Yeah.
But Obi went.
would know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an uninhabited sector. That's a quadrant that they don't let people go in.
And what do we know of? Obviously, there's some lower tech level, quadrants with a fair number of people that aren't like capable of acting on a bigger stage. But is there a chance to mobilize those people and upgrade them a little bit?
Well, if we get Ada to Sirach, she can go ahead and mobilize a huge force eventually, but that'll take that's like a mini campaign in itself if Peter wants to do that. And that's going to be the reclaiming the throne for her, or the conquest of it, and the conquest of the entire area, using the arms that she was smuggling. Which, if we can afford to buy a bunch of arms for them, that'll make it much easier for her to accomplish that.
This is true. Basically, we probably need to get in touch with the sisters again, and because the things that we need to do can be so much better expedited if we have even a small fleet to come with us and do some of these things. Or even like a battle group of like 3-4 ships or 5 ships even.
It really depends where we're trying to go with ships, realistically, for what they're going to do. They're not going to take their ships into combat, and I don't know if they'd be able to get their ships into UPM territory without pissing off UPM. Don't get me wrong, UPM's hardly a threat to their fleet or anything, but still, you don't want to make a bunch of enemies if you don't have to, and by flying their fleets into UPM space would be no bueno, to say the least.
Well, so I guess probably so we can secure better Sister of Karma mobility, we need to go to UPM, get some kind of contract or treaty or something established between UPM, MP20, and the sisters saying, hey, nobody's trying to take each other's shit. We all realize that we can't afford to infight when Sindoom's being this big of an asshole.
I think Peter would know better than I would, but the first thing we have to do is save Jim.
Yeah.
So let's figure out how to do that. Afterwards, let's get back, and maybe Chairman Jaros would be the best guy to go through. I don't know what other contacts we have. But if we can get a treaty signed between us and UPM, again, though, that's very difficult, because that's going to result in diverting an absolutely huge portion of the Sisters of Karma fleet. And the Sisters of Karma area is now under direct threat from Sindoom. We need more fleet power, and we need to disrupt Sindoom's fleet power at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So reasonably, we have to do something about the shipyards there. We have to disable their shipyard capabilities. We have to completely, maybe not destroy Vanguard if we can get them on side, but if we can't, we have to cripple their ability to keep manufacturing ships, because otherwise they'll just outproduce what the Sisters can do.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is the main problem is that we can't do very much of that with just one ship. We'd have to have a strike force. And we can't have a strike force. Yeah, we can't have a lightning strike force if we're not at war.
And that's why I think we're going to have to talk with the Sisters to get the full input of what they're capable of. But what we need to go ahead and destroy... What is the classification of a shipyard, Peter, in your game?
The classification of a shipyard, like...
Are they large stations? Are they larger than large space stations? I'd assume they'd have to be in order to go ahead and make capital ships. So what would it take to destroy one? That's a lot of firepower.
Yeah.
We'd have to go in with, honestly...
Several ships outfitted just like ours.
No, we'd need battle cruisers with probably vertical launch torpedo systems. VLSs. And if we can overwhelm them with just jump in, bombard the thing immediately with, I don't know, 3 battle cruisers and maybe 3 battleships and maybe 12 cruisers, all with advanced torpedoes and other munitions, and destroy the thing, and then jump out again, we should be able to do it. But again, that's a major strike force, and it's a very risky endeavor.
Well, that's the other thing, too, is after you get in and you strike, you got an hour. So you can
got
get
an
out.
hour of waiting there, which, once again, requires us to maintain a massive strike force there for an hour. Which, in the meantime, Sindoom can counterattack in that time frame. And what would I know the Sisters of Karma's fleet composition? Question mark?
It's probably 70% of Sindoom's.
And how many vessels would that be approximately in battle cruisers, battleships, carriers?
Okay.
Don't you love Matt? Don't you love talking to some guy who has a subscription to Jane's?
It's like it sounds like there's just a complete and utter lack of any leadership willing to do something.
That's the huge problem, is there is a lack of leadership willing to do something because, well, for all intents and purposes, Sindoom has won. They have won. And we are playing catch-up. And that's...
Because, like, I was at first expecting a whole lot more rapid response. Instead, everybody kind of just backed down, so...
Well, the problem comes from the fact that we came here right as Sindoom declared that they controlled everything, which means that the Sisters obviously knew that some ship was up that they had to find out first, because Sindoom wouldn't make that bold of a move just like that. You know?
Mhm.
So we came here at a really bad time. But we wouldn't have come here if it wasn't a really bad time, let's be honest. You know?
So Sindoom has got roughly 10 carriers
Mm-hmm.
and roughly 40 to 50 battleships, as far as you know.
So, here's the problem we're facing then. We can go ahead and set up defensive fleets around. How many shipyards does the MT-20 have in their space?
Let's see. MT-20.
Yeah, major shipyards.
They have 2.
We
What
have
about
2.
UPM?
Well, I'm not worried about UPM because we're not putting them on side yet. What I'm thinking is if we concentrate most of our fleets protecting the shipyards in the major areas, it's going to be tough still because Sindoom's got a lot of firepower. But if we concentrate our fleets there and pull off a lightning strike with a ship that we can design to do it, and it would be a battle cruiser, and it would be an assault battle cruiser, one designed with one purpose, and that is to alpha strike the target and just wipe it off the face of the map and get the fuck out. We would be able to, but the minute we do it, Sindoom's going to have fleets standing by at all of their shipyards.
That's
So
the problem. We got to go in with a large number of ships. We got to commit. And
But at the same time, what we have to do is we have to have 4 separate groups going in and attacking. I'd say we want a minimum of 5 battleships in each one, and we ignore the enemy ships and just go for the shipyards, destroying it. And if we're doing that, that's 20 battleships. And 20 battleships is more than half our battleship fleet. And that leaves our 2 shipyards pretty damn well exposed.
that's what I'm saying. Essentially, we almost got to go like an all-out war type of route where we get every motherfucker who has a ship and we start routing everyone who has a ship to a shipyard and getting them outfitted for combat. And in some capacity, maybe not in full capacity, but you know, that seems like the only option because we are so outgunned.
Well,
We almost need the private civilian class ships outfitted for combat.
Well, it's where will the civilian ship be of use, though? Because we're talking about most weapons you can fit on a civilian vessel cannot penetrate a battleship's armor. They can't. Especially if it's a free merchant or something, you are not going to penetrate a battleship's armor. And that's really the big combatants we have to worry about. I mean, right now, our ship can one-shot a fleet cruiser almost 100% of the time without breaking a sweat. So we have to think the big boys are what have to be destroyed, and we have to eliminate their ability to manufacture more in a timely manner.
That's what I'm saying. That's why we need. So in essence, what I'm picturing if we were simplifying this to like ground combat, in essence, we have our battleships equating to tanks. What we need is a shit ton of infantry to be shock absorbers, so our tanks can strike and move back into the infantry. If that makes any sense. Basically, we need to have like a shield wall for our assets we cannot afford to lose.
I think that's the problem, though, is that anything smaller than a heavy frigate, what we have, is worthless as a shield. It's going to be hit by a single Sindoom weapon and be gone, and they're going to target 3 to 6 of them a turn, wiping out just swaths of them. And in that case, we're killing people needlessly who could be better off, doing infiltration missions or something.
Yeah,
we need to have a way to ensure that the ships we're sending out there are going to cripple Sindoom, and then they're going to be used further to go ahead and destroy Sindoom's fleet in pockets where we can. isolate them.
Chairman Jaros looks at you guys. He's like, you have a call if you want to accept it. He pulls his data pad out and pushes it in front of you.
Yeah. Big Montana will click it.
You see an older humanoid woman, about late 50s, with tubes coming out from all around her in like a curtain white background. That's not white, but that's close enough.
Howdy.
Hello.
Yes, you must be Big Montana.
Yeah, that'd be me.
I am the curator.
Oh, pleasure me. I think Jim mentioned something about you one time when I was talking to him.
Yes, he did. I did get a stressful call from him. He was reaching out to a few people. Seems that he is under house arrest.
Yeah, we're trying to go and solve that. We need a little more firepower, though. We're trying to get ourselves another ship to come with us to make that jailbreak a little bit better.
I may have someone to help you. Chairman Jaros, I hope you didn't mind, did send me a message.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. We need all contacts we can get a hold of.
He works for some folks I know in the AIA.
I can't say I'm too familiar with them.
The Pious Independence Alliance.
Oh, I see.
He was recently freed from a facility and kind of been itching to get into the fight.
Oh dear.
Well, I mean, we're itching to get into a fight, so I would see that would probably work out real good between the two of us.
What is your plan to get Jim?
Well, mainly we don't know what his situation is. I haven't heard back from him. We don't know how many vessels are keeping him under house arrest there. I would say it'd be more than one ship, otherwise Jim would have just tried to break out. So
yes. He mentioned something about that they had not boarded the Iron Skirt because of fear of infestation.
at least the Jawas are good for something.
Always look at you angrily.
But yeah, what our plan is right at the moment is after we get another feller to come with us, we have quite the stealth capabilities on our ship. I'm hoping the vessel that we managed to get on our side to do this can also, somewhat remain hidden within the system once we jump in and get a good eyeball on what is all going on there, and then decide our plan of attack from there. If it's a snatch and grab or if it's an obliterate, whatever's keeping Jim there kind of deal.
I believe that this person would be able to help you create a distraction. I was told, from my understanding, that the deviants are the main ones keeping Jim under house arrest. So there's an assorted collection of spacecraft, nothing in the realm of battleship or a carrier.
So
there was
small,
some
soft
kind of
targets.
There was some sort of misunderstanding with a ship that was built at Vanguard Nebula and supposed to be delivered to a group called the Nerf Herders or something. There was some sort of arrangement of paperwork that had been changed, and they were blaming Jim for it.
I see. That sounds like a Jim thing.
Well, if they don't have anything too extreme, we might be able to just blast our way through eventually.
Yeah, it's if they're all soft targets, small little squish things.
We do have massive firepower advantage.
Yeah. What kind of ships your friend got?
No ship. It will just be one individual.
Oh.
If you could get him aboard a craft, I'm sure he would be sufficient enough to create a distraction.
I see. Well, we do have quite the stealth capability. We could probably sneak him aboard. Find their biggest one, biggest ship, and plop him on it. How capable is this individual? Like, are we talking like super special ops type figure? Like, we blow a hole in the ship and he straight up space jumps in there? Like, I've seen movies and shit where like you get a dude right and blow a hole in the ship and the dude just like yeets himself from one ship to the other ship.
I would
into the other
advise
ship.
you
Is he that
to-
kind of good?
to arm him when you are ready to fight. Don't give him access to the armory beforehand.
Ah. Well, that sounds good to me. Where's he at?
I will arrange a pickup site.
All right.
Now, if I can find, where is the iron skirt? Oh, here it is. Okay.
I too often look for my iron skirt.
Yes, it's Kohler. Okay, business system. So.
I have so many plans for collar on. but
So
never got
she
to-
says 0502 is unoccupied, but there will be a fleet merchant. A free merchant ship there. They will transport the individual to you.
Okay.
I was excited. I thought Fleet Merchant was going to be like this huge fleet tender ship that was like the battleship equivalent of a bulk
Holland
freighter or some
vessel.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just flies in, and it's carrying cruisers inside of it, that can deploy and repair and stuff. I think it would be pretty awesome.
I forget how much the space motorcycles cost. Jim bought one. How much did they cost? I don't remember.
I think 10 is what you paid.
I have an idea. If that guy's as much of a badass as he's being made out to be, I'll buy him a space motorcycle and we'll send him in with some weapons. We'll blow a hole in the biggest ship they got and have him drive his space motorcycle inside the ship and then
There we go.
start wreaking havoc.
We also have to get him a leather jacket
Yeah.
and sunglasses.
With a hover cycle.
Oh, yeah. The good old hovercycle that Jim never really used that much.
That's 5,000.
I think I paid 10 because I wanted to upgrade it to be
Space
like
capable.
full blown like a space Harley. Like I could ride it around wherever I wanted in space.
Yeah.
So yeah, Big Montana spent 10,000 on that to get that set up for that guy. I got the money. Change that 2 to a 1.
Okay, 2,500 credits for the space bike.
Oh, that's
deal.
really cheap.
Yeah, that was in my notes. Okay. So yeah, actually you get one that kind of looks like the Deviant's bike.
Yeah.
They are the space biker gang.
Mm.
Can we go ahead and get the guy a leather jacket that says AA Asmodeus's Angels on it? It's always good when you get to go to those AA meetings, huh, Big Montana?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I thought you said you were in the biker gang, the Asmodeus's Angels.
They unfortunately don't make a pack big enough for my size.
Not even with the side cart, just for your stomach?
Yeah, no, didn't quite work out.
Oh dear, I'm sorry. Do you need anything?
It ended up being more like a space side by side, and that just didn't fit with the whole like visual thing that group was trying to go for. And yeah,
No, what group were you trying to become part of?
it was a long time ago. I don't exactly remember what they were called.
Is that where you met Ernie's mother? We're getting Big Montana backstory. I'm interested.
Yeah, hopefully I don't know exactly the like full details of our contract. Are we allowed to like go and do this thing to get Jim safe without Sister Karma permission type deal, or is that how
I
does
don't see
that
anyone
work?
stopping you.
Well, yeah, but then Jaros, like, I thought they hired Sisters of Karma, and then Jaros sent us on a mission, like, as a separate thing, and then he got arrested for it. So,
Well, that's the thing, is that Jero sent you on a mission. This is your own personal thing. You can do whatever you like in your spare time.
well, I thought that
Plus
was
this-
Jaros' spare time kind of endeavor thingy.
Not particularly, because he had you doing it on behalf of MT20, as opposed to on behalf of himself.
No, I'm deeply confused.
It happens a lot to people your age.
Man, fuck it. Jim's a good friend. He needs help. Sisters of Karma can bite my cock if they ain't happy about it.
I think you'll be fine.
I help my buddies.
I don't think anyone on the ship will fault you for doing so. Except maybe Laura, she's kind of a bitch, but I wouldn't worry too much about her.
I thought you were going to say Karen.
No. Karen's an upper man. Karen is just married to one of the management.
Mm.
She's not actually allowed to do anything. Could you imagine? Give Karen power? Jesus.
Yep. That'd be a no bueno. I attempted to go down that route one time. That was my third ex-wife.
It was a deep mistake on your
Yep.
part.
Yep. Well, I've made plenty of them.
Well, enough about Bert and Ernie. We're discussing the...
Yeah. That day were definitely an accident.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, given that we get the space bike on board, we'd probably head to go pick up that dude. I feel like that's a decent stopping point because I have work tomorrow.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah, that's fine.
That way we're not right in the middle of something.
Yeah, no
I have
doubt.
no idea what you mean. I mean, we're all here after all. No one could possibly die if we're all here, right?
You guys should have all gotten them. I should have sent you guys all messages. So
Yep.
On which platform?
Zoom chat.
Okay, so I answered them already. Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. I think so. I'm fairly oblivious sometimes.
Zoom chat doesn't always show up immediately.
It depends if you see that little red number at the bottom.
Yeah, I don't always notice it. I'm kind of oblivious like that.
I didn't see mine until just now.
Yeah.
So
We'll
you've
find
got. So you definitely have some options to think about.
Mhm.
There are at least 3 or 4 days before you start getting intel back, so you might want to wait on the, well, you got the gym situation,
We have to save
Yeah.
Jim.
Yeah, that'll take
but
at least a day or two.
right, but then I guess for further
Well, the idea is to save Jim and then come back here and lick our wounds for a bit.
If we sustain them bad, yeah.
Well, also, intel is the important thing.
Yeah, if we don't sustain a bunch of damage rescuing Jim, probably our immediate next move I would say Big Montana would be real anxious to talk to some MT20, or not some MT20, but to some, get a meeting set up between UPM and MT20 and the Sisters of Karma. That's something we could probably do without having to worry about, overextending our capabilities. Just get a good meeting set up so we can figure out where everyone's at, what they're thinking, what MT20 is thinking.
I think it's going to be complicated because MT20 and the sisters, as we've seen, aren't in the best of terms at the moment. The two of them.
Why is that? I don't remember them having contention before.
Well, a lot of it has to do with the fact that, as we discussed when we first arrived on this planet here, with the discovery of the new power source, what was the thing that Chairman Jero said? I'm going to have to sell everything.
Mm-hmm.
And as many of the sisters have said, they're willing to work for Sindoom. They think Sindoom's going to hire them.
Yeah.
Because they're idiots, but that's what they think. And so I'm not 100% sure that all the factions are on side.
Well, I don't see what's like an issue between UPM and Sisters of Karma though. Like I don't see what's
UPM would have to be able to pay them, plain and simple.
yeah.
UPM has to give them the best deal, and if I'm not mistaken, Peter, UPM's economy is kind of shit. They don't have. I mean, Sindoom controls arms manufacturing by far, by a country mile. They control most major industries by the sound of it, including science and research and development.
Yeah, UPM doesn't have a whole lot of money at the point because a lot of their assets were taken over by the Church of Atlas or the Yellow Lens.
Yeah, so it's even worse for them. So if the sisters go ahead, if MT20 does not have the money to pay the sisters, you're going to have four different groups of sisters break apart then.
Well, see, here's what I'm ideally hoping for is for MT20 and UPM to come to an arrangement so that between the two of them they can fund, they can afford the Sisters of Karma. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be very difficult for them to both afford it because right now MT20 is in free fall economically. They're in real bad juju, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're in that kind of free fall, there's no way they can even think about affording the Sisters of Karma. The Sisters of Karma is like an elite fighting force you have to pay top dollar for.
Mm-hmm.
And the MT20 could do it because they had an absolute monopoly. But look at how much we're paying for 13 sisters right now. Multiply that by... we're probably looking at least hundreds of thousands. It's an incredibly expensive force to keep going. It's more than normal military force.
Mm-hmm.
Sindoom can pay their people whatever the fuck they want to. Because in Sindoom, you don't have much of a choice in the matter. UPM has to pay for a professional fighting force, and they can't. Their military is an absolute joke. So, with all those things in mind, I think the sisters are going to become a problem, realistically. Just because, why would they fight for the losing side?
Yeah.
Why would they fight if they're not going to get paid? An incredibly difficult battle, as we've discussed. Ironically enough, if I think about it, you know who probably the single best bet we have is? Ada and Sirach. She wants to build up a force there. She has the arms. It's going to take work to do it, but you have a bunch of very brutal, highly capable soldiers on that planet who she can unite under a single throne.
Yeah.
And from that planet, she can go ahead and expand out, taking over systems as needed. So really...
The main problem is where do we get ships for those guys, though?
Ships, easy. Ships, basic ships like free merchants and stuff, that's simple to come by. And with those free merchants, we turn them into infiltration vessels with boarding tubes. Massive amounts
We just essentially turn those ships into big boarding tubes.
Yep, and we have those ships board Sindoom cruisers to begin with and heavy frigates. From there, they'd be able to take over the vessel with pretty fucking easily, if we're honest. Because once again, they're complete warrior culture. And with again, I don't think we're going to get all the sisters on side, but if we have Miyoko and Masako, who both seem to be more loyal to you to a degree in anti-Sindoom than a lot of the others, if they can get the correct sisters, and if we can maybe make some of the armories disappear, that can happen sometimes, and wind up in the hands of Sirach, we can militarize Sirach to the point where they can start taking Sindoom vessels, and if we move quietly and in the shadows for a while, we should be able to gain an upper hand. Though again, we have to go ahead and find some way of keeping Sindoom under control and the sisters under control. So, like I said, we're going to have probably 3 or 4 groups of sisters. One will break off and possibly join Sindoom if the money's good. One will be completely against Sindoom and continue to support the UPM, will become a bit of a small resistance force, though that's probably going to be a minority. One will become a bunch of pirates. They'll become a pirate faction like the Yellow Lens used to be. And one of them is just going to pretty much disappear. We need to get the resistance sisters on side and disable the offensive sisters for pro-Sindoom.
What would it take to unify Sirach? Like, how
we have to
advanced
get
are they?
Ada
I'm
to
not
the
even sure.
They're a tech level 2 planet, but they have access to firearms and vehicles to a degree. They have knowledge of them.
What do they have for anti-ship capabilities, though?
Fuck all. We have to supply the weapons.
In essence, what we can do to put Ada on the throne is fly in with a few ships and just point a big gun at everyone else's head and say, you listen to this bitch now, and then we arm everyone.
We have to militarize her forces, though, and she's written an entire book on the subject.
Well, yeah.
Yes, she has.
As far as getting the others
will follow her if she can win battles and prove that she is the warlord. That Sirach follows a warlord.
Arm her a little bit.
Yeah.
Then they go to have a battle, and we fly up and just start raining, essentially ship-based artillery.
We can't use ships in the battle. That would be dishonorable for the culture. It has to be a land-based combat. That being said, while a grav tank might be a bit much, a few Humvees with rail guns and anti-laser vehicle lasers.
We have both of those things.
That's what I'm saying, is we can't give a grav tank, but we can give basic, technicals pretty much.
They wouldn't find a grav tank honorable.
No, because a grav tank is armor. And we have to remember, the idea of getting Sirach on side isn't to slaughter all of the other forces.
Well, no, but it's to prove that they have the biggest dick.
It's to prove that we can win in battle against all of them, and then we have to defeat several warlords on that planet through land engagements with her leading, and then we have to put her on the throne, which is the ancient palace. We have to find where that palace is, which we don't really know 100%. That's what she was doing before she was temporarily removed from her area. And we have to find the palace, and we have to put her on the throne with a crown, and we have to defend the palace for a period of time to show that she is in charge.
Mm-hmm.
How
do they feel about extreme firepower? So I know they're not a fan of armor, but what about a completely unarmored vehicle with an 88 on the back of it?
They had an anti-vehicle laser.
That's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Weapons they're not going to give a shit about. They'll be excited.
They don't care about weapons, but they don't see armor as honorable.
So here's what I'm picturing is a dump truck without a cab and an 88 on the back of it.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I think the Humvees would be a bit more effective overall, just because, 4 Humvees with machine guns is a hell of a lot cheaper and a lot more effective than an 88. But
I mean, one 88 for shock value, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
We could put that on the 5-ton, actually. But I would say that if we can go ahead and get her on the throne, we have a fighting force we don't have to pay for. One that could probably rival the Sisters of Karma with a bit of training.
Right.
and that's going to be the big thing, is securing a solid military force that we can utilize.
Yeah.
And that we don't have to pay for.
Yeah.
So we can do whatever with that situation. If you want to like play a session of Ada and the old crew go into Sirach, I'm down with that. That's fine.
That's also the thing too. We could split
Yeah.
up.
Well, that's the thing, is we have to save them.
Mhm.
And then we can send them to Sirach. But Big Montana, you would actually know about this to a degree.
Mhm.
Because your character was there when Ada was there, and she was
Yeah.
quite vocal in what she wanted to do. In fact, she saved your life a couple of times.
Yes, this is true.
You blame it. But you would know that she was planning on doing that. And so if we rescue them and bring them back to MT20 space, there'd probably be discussion about getting arms so she could reclaim the throne, and we'd have to talk with them about all of this.
How fast can a station turn a civilian vessel into a mobile, into essentially a large boarding tube?
That would actually be really fucking quick, because boarding tubes are very simple. The thing again is we have to disable the engine of the ship to board it.
Yeah.
So if we have, let's say, if we get, let's say, 5 multifocal lasers just for the AP value, and we shoot 5 shots at one thing, we go ahead and just almost guarantee disable the engines if we aim for the engines, even with the minus penalty to hit.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Our 88s should be able to destroy engines, shouldn't they?
Yes.
Yeah,
They can
so
disable the engines. But
essentially,
what I'm thinking about
here's
is,
the new plan that I'm envisioning now. So essentially, we split up, divide our core forces. Big Montana starts getting a meeting, get ready to set up between UPM and MT20. We, or Jim and all them, go and get the Sirach deal figured out. Once the Sirach deal's figured out, part of the negotiations between UPM and MT20 and the Sisters of Karma will be MT20 and UPM will supply civilian vessels that can be outfitted into mobile boarding tubes to, make our army usable.
Mhm.
And then we go from there.
we have to think, though.
That way UPM can, because that's one thing UPM has right now. They have their economy's in free fall, so they have essentially a shit ton of merchant type vessels that are just sitting because they just can't do anything with them right now.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the problem we're facing as well, though, is that MT20 at the moment. What is the MT20 other than Borax conglomerate that controls the Borax? What else do they control exactly?
That's it.
They control the Borax. So what we have here is 2 shipyards and a bunch of near worthless Borax that we need that Sindoom and their forces don't.
Well, at least we do have a fuel source for everyone, though.
We do?
It's not as good, but at least we have a fuel source.
Yes.
While it's about to not be worth anything, it will still power ships.
Yeah, you guys didn't use your borax. I mean, you guys didn't use your crystal last time.
Yep.
No, yeah, we've got the Borax. But the question which I bring to everyone here, how do we keep the Sisters of Karma on side?
That's the problem.
That's
essentially what would cause their
forces.
contract. Well, yeah, I know we need the Sirach forces. That's what I'm trying to get both. Essentially, when does the Sisters of Karma contract run out? / what are things that would cause them to not be in contract with them anymore?
When the money runs out.
And / how are their... So, say a war was declared, would they be contractually obligated to see the war out? and they wouldn't be able to switch sides if there was a war declared?
Not based on what we've seen so far. Because if you remember, when we were discussing it with them at the table, they were going ahead and saying, well, it depends as long as MT20 can pay, otherwise we will begin negotiations with Sindoom.
Because if we can get them contractually obligated to continue fighting if there's a war declared before Borax becomes worthless, so that they're stuck, that would be ideal.
I think it's going to be real tough to negotiate them into a contract right now, considering the fact that
Well, that's what I need.
everyone knows Borax is an absolute free fall, especially the Sisters of Karma.
Well, that's what I'm saying is I don't know what their contract right now is entailing.
I don't know the full contract, but, well, you know this as a player, but in my secret meeting with the sisters, they were rather blunt about the fact that if MT20, if Borax goes into free fall, they're going to look to Sindoom,
Mm-hmm.
as she stated. And so if this conversation comes up with my character, she would definitely mention it to you that this is what was said.
Mm-hmm.
Obi, have you thought about contacting the Master of Fangs about any of this? Since he is on Sindoom?
No, but that's a good resource.
I thought we tried to reach out to him. We couldn't get a message.
I think you
into him.
sent him a message or something at one point, but there was really no follow-up.
From the battleship.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what it was.
yeah,
Yeah,
you were
because we were
trying to,
looking to get a pickup.
yeah, and he was unable to, yeah, you didn't get a message back, but he might be a good resource since he's on Sindoom, and he has an item that you may be familiar with too.
Puppy. Oh, no.
He has black crystals that you got him.
Yep. 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they could do with those though.
Well, we know that they can reanimate the dead, as Obi had seen. We know that they can be used for faster than light travel. And, well, they are MacGuffin, so hustle points can make them do a lot of incredible things, I'm certain.
Right, and you do have all your hustle points, so I need to know what you want to do since you've got all kinds of plans here.
Yep. Well, it's all one big plan, but many parts to it.
Right.
Yeah.
And don't forget, you got the AIA, the Bias Independence Alliance. They will absolutely join you and fight Sindoom. They hate every single one of them.
Which can also make very good advanced weapon instructors for the Sirach forces.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think what I'm going to do with Big Montana's hustle point is set up a meeting for some, or just not necessarily set up a meeting, but set any contacts Big Montana would have within the organizations of UPM, MT20, and AIA. He would have them start whispering in their top dogs' ears about getting together to have an enclave about what to do about Sindoom.
Okay. Good. All right.
That way, it's a little bit easier to get everyone pulled together faster after we're done with the gym thing.
Okay.
With what I know, Peter, I'm going to use my hustle point and start finding all of the Sisters of Karma who I know would go against Sindoom, even if a contract was signed. The ones who wouldn't follow in with Sindoom.
Are you okay? So are you talking about like your 13 that you found, or are you talking about the Sisters of Karma, like the main ones?
I'm gonna have to
Which
go
ship
with
captains would be against Sindoom?
the big ones in charge.
Okay, like Sadaf.
Yeah, Sadaf and
Okay, so which
ones are adamantly against Sindoom, and which ones are kind of on the fence. They join if there's a vote to go that direction.
Okay. Okay. Going for the big dogs. All right. Nice. Okay.
I don't really have much of a choice in the matter, do I?
No, I was just making sure because
We
a
need
lot.
a big dog's energy.
I need my big dog energy right here. Come here, lady. I need big dog.
Bill, how do you feel about Sindoom? Hate him? Okay, you're checked. All right, you're on North Train.
that's
Bob,
good.
what do you think about Sisters of Car? Okay, what do you think about Sindoom? Oh, not indifferent. Okay, indifferent.
Yeah, we can arrange that.
What about you, Obi? What are you gonna do? Or maybe you want to send you and Galileo want to go to Mirror and the Church of Atlas and try to start a robot revolt.
Ooh la la.
It is an option. I'm still kind of thinking on it.
Okay.
I'll try and decide shortly.
Obi's the second man. Obi's the fifth columnist here. He's working with Sindoom the entire time.
We also need just for shits and giggles, we need to pick up fucking I just forgot his name again.
Well, he wasn't that important.
He must not be that important. Some nobody.
Who was our guitar guy? I just forgot his
Dean.
name. Yeah, Dean. We just for shits and giggles, we need to like hot drop Dean in the middle in the middle of like a big Sindoom city and tell him to start a revolution and then just leave.
Yes.
I would totally. If I don't use my hustle point for that session, I will use my hustle point to make sure that he succeeds.
We're taking it to the streets.
Yeah, we'll buy him some good sound equipment.
Yeah, there we go.
A Barbie karaoke machine. A few red lights, a few old beds. He'll have a place to sweat soon enough.
We gotta go buy Dean back.
I swear, this game is just getting more and more complex the more we play it.
Well, we're trying to topple an empire.
Yeah, an empire that declared war on us first.
This is true. And it's crazy how the things go, because at first when we were at the A team, originally we were like, yeah, Sindoom's our friend, you know, like we like these guys. Fuck those UPM guys. They're assholes. And then we get done with a mission and it's all like, oh, Sindoom just declared us all outlaws. What the fuck, Sindoom? We were working together.
A bunch of assholes.
Well, I guess we did kind of, as A team, we did kind of pretend to be Sindoom people, and while pretending to be Sindoom people, we did accidentally kill an ambassador to UPM.
Yeah, they tend to not like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
No, then again, they didn't know it was us.
Were you guys the one that killed the ambassador in that?
Yeah,
we killed the ambassador.
Yeah, that's when Betty 88'd him out of the sky.
Oh, that's right.
That was the one where Ada was driving the truck and it got hacked, and Obi had to save us from the hack, and Big Montana was on her shoulder.
It was Jim, yeah.
Jim, I mean. Yep.
It was an ambassador from Thurian.
Oh.
Yep. And how did that affect the world?
Well, I remember everything kind of getting, it's like we kicked a massive anthill right after that, like the whole everything just like it kicked a massive anthill.
Yeah, I mean, plans had to be accelerated, I'm sure. But, well, I mean, let's not forget as well, Keris was kind of cool with everyone, but when we put Ada into the mix, it was just like she'd lived under, UPM's thumb her entire life.
Mm.
And UPM aren't a bunch of saints, as we've seen time and time again, too.
Yeah.
And everyone knew Sindoom were a bunch of dicks, but it was like, well, Sindoom hasn't oppressed her people and, forced them not to be able to do anything and restricted trade and kept them in the Dark Ages kind of thing.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing right now is like, this is the Dune series of books, And what's happening is you got the Imperial Saduka, which are the Sisters of Karma, the highly elite trained troops, and we're going to turn the people of Sirach into the Fremen, an even more highly trained group of troops who are going to destroy the Saduka. Because I'm going to be honest, with the Sisters of Karma and how they work, they're going to join Sindoom. Most of them are going to join Sindoom. They're mercenaries, and if Sindoom's offering them money, they're going to join it.
Yeah, because at this point, where I'm at with everything, is it's less about destroying Sindoom assets and more about capturing. When it comes to ships, we really need them.
If we
because
have
we have
Sirach, we
too
need
few
ships.
ships. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need to get the Sirach guys and turn them into a mobile, essentially a ship capturing force, not even a ship destroying force. We need a ship capturing force, and then we need to start targeting Sindoom battleships.
That begs a question, Peter. How would you rate one of Ada's Sirach soldiers before her advanced book comes out? Where would they be in terms, because they're from a war society, where would they rank in comparison to other troops?
Where would they rank in
I
comparison?
assume they'd be a bit better than your bog standard UPM guy.
Yeah, I would say so.
I wouldn't say equipment-wise, but coming from a warrior culture, they're probably much better trained, being trained from like 12 years old or some shit.
What do you have in your head, Josh? Because like I'm picturing Cadians before they nuked their planet.
They'd probably be more ferocious than Cadians. They'd probably be closer to Catachans.
Well, like Cadians before they nuked their own planet or after they nuked their own planet? Or no, I'm not thinking of Cadians. I think of Krieg. Yeah,
Krieg.
Krieg's before they nuked their planet is about what I'm thinking of where they're at.
They wouldn't be
now.
Krieg. They're not suicidal.
Well, no, that's what I'm talking. Krieg before they nuked their planet. Kriegs didn't turn suicidal until after they nuked their planet.
Yeah. I'd say they'd probably be. Well, they're a bit disorganized at the moment.
Well, yeah, so were the Kriegs because they were all infighting before they nuked their own planet.
Well, you had the rebellion group fighting against Colonel Jorgen. But the Sirach forces, they're highly capable, highly individualistic, though. I'd say that man for man, they're probably better than most people, but that they don't know how to really function as a fully fledged team because they don't have radio communication, they don't have advanced firearms or anything.
Mm.
And that's just based on what Peter's shown me of them, but...
Well, yeah, I'm more thinking of individual soldier capability. Like, you put him on a one-on-one fight against, what is his capability over your average man or your average soldier with the same equipment,
Yeah.
Like, say they both have shotguns, which one's more likely to win?
Yeah, it depends if you train them on it. Again, this is going to require us fighting probably a few weeks to maybe months of a ground campaign on Sirach to capture the planet, which most people would probably ignore what's going on planet because it's viewed as an internal affair.
How much did it cost us to buy Humvees? How many Humvees can we buy and set up the way they were set up?
10,000 for the fully upgraded Humvee each.
Oh. Let's see.
We have 2 of them in a 5-ton.
I still have. Let's see. Would 50 Humvees really, really help out?
You'd essentially make the most powerful armored fight. You'd essentially make the 7th Panzer Division advancing into France against no tanks.
I would be willing to spend $50,000 on getting a bunch of Humvees shipped to Sirach.
Well, 50,000 is 10 Humvees.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's 5.
I think when you guys, that's in Zeal system, right? That's where Sirach is.
Correct.
And where the dead planet was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If I may be mistaken, but I think I'm right. When I said you guys went there, there wasn't a lot of traffic, right? It wasn't crawling with Sindoom guys.
Yeah.
It did have yellow lens there, if I'm not mistaken.
They may be in the area.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
there
know
was a
if you
reason it might
need
be
that
around.
much firepower for Ada to
Subjugate the
unite
planet.
or take over whoever they got.
Yeah,
Like-
well, I know we don't need that much firepower. I'm looking for expediency, like how that would definitely make it really quick to get done.
Well, again, we're also dealing with the fact that the people on Sirach aren't completely demilitarized. And the problem with an all-vehicle force is you can ambush it and you're confined to roads and to territory they can cross. If we have, for example, let's give them 4 Humvees, for example, and then a few trucks for quicker mobility, that would be a huge advantage for the infantry force, with the Humvees supporting the infantry as they advance in a classic Rhodesian-style fire force operation.
No,
But
I'm
that's-
just looking to figure out how we can get her on the throne as soon as possible. Like, how much money do I need to throw at it to do that?
It's not just a money thing, it's a campaign thing.
Well, yeah, but if we have them significantly like outgunning the rest of the forces on the planet, they're going to be able to assert dominance very quickly, and then the holding period can start much sooner.
Well, the main thing is that they have to gather followers and supporters very quickly. And so, in a lot of ways, you know, one of the best things you could buy them if you wanted to, if we're being honest? Mobile field hospitals. Because the fewer other Siraki tribes they kill, the more soldiers will be able to rally to the cause quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's strength and benevolence shown, as Sun Tzu has described many times, the enemy would rather surrender to you than go ahead and be slaughtered meaninglessly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to figure out things that we can buy to expedite that process, so we don't end up running out of time before Sindoom can crank out basically another round of battleships.
We're looking at 3 months approximately. But then again, I don't think we need to worry about Sindoom cranking out another round of battleships. And here's why. If the sisters go over to Sindoom or become rogue or something, there will be no force in the galaxy directly threatening Sindoom that they're aware of. As such, why are you going to blow a huge portion of your economy on more battleships and soldiers? You'd hurt your economy that way.
I don't know, but the main thing I'm worried about is just the time frames.
Mm-hmm.
The Sisters of Karma are only going to hang around for so long, and if we can't get the Sirakians on board fast enough, then we lose the Sisters of Karma.
I'm already writing the Sisters of Karma off. And here's why. We know for a fact that there were already negotiations starting with the Sisters in MT20. They made a bold move against Chairman Jeros, which means they feel they're in a position of power, which means that they don't feel beholden to MT20 any longer. I'd be surprised if we had 2 weeks to keep the Sisters of Karma on side right now. I don't think we do. Especially as I asked Peter, what are the stocks looking like? And the stocks are in free fall right now.
So essentially, we're looking at a lot more guerrilla than I was originally thinking.
Yeah, we're going to have to do probably a massive guerrilla campaign, and that's why I think Sirach's the best place to start.
Yeah, that's why I plan on starting with Sirach, but I was hoping to get Sirach done before the Sisters capitulated.
The stock price right now looks pretty good.
Yeah, for now.
Correct, yes.
But as everyone's been saying, it's...
Only a matter of time.
Yeah, it's a matter of time, and I don't think we'll be able to subjugate the entire planet like we need to and get a trained fighting force off it in a couple of weeks. we need to go ahead and get the planet under our control, and we need to start
Mm-hmm.
a massive training camp for ship-to-ship fighting. Free merchant vessels, they're a dime a dozen. We can get them easy. The best ship we could have is heavy frigates because they have probably the highest population you can put on a vessel at a time with
Well,
extended
yeah.
life support.
The other thing about a heavy frigate too is they're good DPS. They really are. They have so many gun slots.
Burst fire into the ship, disable the engine, then go ahead and shoot in a bunch of
Yeah.
boarding
So
torpedoes.
in essence, the way it's looking, if we lose all of our Sister of Karma battleships for the most part,
Yeah.
In essence, the way I'm looking at our fleet composition, if we can get UPM on side to supply civilian type vessels and MT-20 on side to provide civilian vessels, our fleet composition is looking like it's going to be all the civilian vessels set up to be boarding tubes with one multifocal laser on them, and then all of our, and basically any and all combat style ships set up to disable large ships as fast as possible so that we can board tube them with a lot of small ships.
Well, this begs the question then, Peter. How common are certain types of vessels within the galaxy? Like, how common are free merchants? How common are heavy frigates, patrol boats, etc.?
That's a good question.
Yeah, like, how difficult would it make for them to, certain ones to go missing without anyone batting an eye, and how difficult would it be for... What I'd like to do is I would like to get my hands on the vessels when the Sisters of Karma go ahead and do whatever they're going to do. Because if they split or something, there's going to be a lot of confusion. A lot of shit's going to be flying around. There's going to be a lot of disruption. If we can utilize that disruption to grab the vessels we need, we'd be in a much better position.
So I would say really depends on the system and the planet. Like Sindoom, if you're talking like the golden system, they're going to notice if anything missing.
Mhm.
Out in Dazzle or Smack, they're not going to, nobody's going to really notice stuff missing. As far as Sindoom goes, they're not going to, only in the major areas.
And so I think it's probably in our best interest to, well, we have to get UPM kind of on side, even if not fully.
Yeah, I'm planning on, Big Montana's planning on putting a lot of effort into getting MT-20 and UPM to fully commit to trying to take Sindoom down. Even though they don't have big ships to contribute, they do have a lot of small ships to contribute, and even if they're not great soldiers, they do have soldiers to contribute to where we can strike, small coordinated strike large vessels, taking out their engines with ships that can, basically ships that are just strapped full of guns to take out engines, and then all the small ships boarding to overwhelm a large ship very quickly. That's basically our only tactic that we have left, because we do not have access to large, heavy ships.
Well, here's the thing which I'm looking at. As Peter said, your average Sindoom battleship's going to have about 500 people on it. Okay? A heavy frigate can hold 120 people with standard life support. We can bump that up a lot very quickly. And boarding tubes can allow every person on that ship to board the other ship immediately if we wanted. Weapons, we don't need a huge weapon on it. If we're targeting large ships, we care about disabling them.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking to do most effectively is the ships that can have a lot of guns, like heavy frigates and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you strap those with as many guns as you can get on them, and all the civilian type vessels, you load them up with boarding tubes, and so in an ideal scenario, you'd have maybe 3 or 4 heavy frigate style ships taking out the engines on big ships, and you have, like, say, 30 smaller ships just boarding tube the fuck out of one battleship.
Here's the main problem I see with that. The free merchant is the most common type of civilian vessel, correct?
Mhm.
That can hold 6 people. You
What if you
multiply
upgrade
that.
the life support, though?
What?
What about with upgraded life support?
With upgraded life support, it's doubled every time. So 6, 12, 18, 24. It's terrible. Because each one of those is using up 2, and those 4 upgrades, that's not counting a frameshift drive, or not a spike drive, is already using up 8 of the power and 8 of the mass for 24 people. The heavy frigate, on the other hand, without any upgrades, is 120 people by itself.
Yeah, but here's the problem, though, is your heavy frigates really need to be your DPS. Here's what the thought I just had.
Mhm.
What do UPM and MT-20 have for bulk freighter merchant vessels? They move, or especially MT-20 moves a lot of borax. They probably have a decent size, like bulk freighter size ships. You can put a lot of people on a bulk freighter.
You can put 40 people on a bulk freighter.
That's it.
Yep, it's 10-40. Minimum of 10 crew, maximum of 40 without upgraded life support.
But bumping their life support, you can get them up to.
You could get them up to, it's a cruiser though, so it's really bad because you're using 3 instead of 2. And there's 15 power, so without anything else except for additional life support, you can get a total of 5 more times 40. You can have 240 people. That's the heavy frigate with 1 upgraded life support is 240 people. The heavy frigate's the ideal boarding vessel for us, unfortunately.
They're also the great DPS.
They're also the most difficult ones for us to acquire.
Yeah.
However, they're also the ones which are the least likely to be missed if they go missing. Because who's paying attention to a heavy frigate when you've got fleet cruisers, battleships, and carriers floating around? It becomes another number on the backboard. So if we can we have a heavy frigate right now. Once we have the planet under our control, we can go ahead and adjust it to be more of a boarding vessel. We go
Here's
ahead.
an idea. I'm kind of playing off what you're going on.
Yeah.
Here's kind of what I'm picturing. Because to me, it doesn't make sense to do a heavy frigate that has some guns, boarding tubes, and more crew. It'd make more sense to me to have a specialized heavy frigate to disable and a specialized heavy frigate to board.
Well, we have to think about what exactly the heavy frigate does. It has 8 hard points, which means it can have 8 weapons.
Mm-hmm.
The weapon, except for the armor penetration value, is meaningless. Because we care about one thing with our guns, disabling the engines so that it can be boarded. Now, to disable the engines, we need to get 1 shot on the engine with a targeted shot. And the way we would have to do that is scroll, my lord. Let me scroll. It would be fire 1 weapon. A fire 1 weapon action you take this round may target the ship's weapons, engines, or fittings the DM decides are valuable. Such targeted attacks take a -4 to hit. On a hit, you half damage applied before armor. We literally don't need many guns at all because it's fire 1 weapon, and the max CP we can get is 9, and each one of these targeted fire 1 weapon is 3. That's 3 shots.
So how many times? So basically, how many times can you do that?
3 times. Well, you can do it as many as you have CP points. If damage gets through the system, the system is disabled and drive is degraded by 1, or drive is degraded by 1 level. Disabled systems hit again are destroyed. We don't have to destroy the engines. We have to disable them. So what we do is you go ahead and you put someone like Miyoko on who can guarantee a 100% hit on a weapon because she's a warrior class.
Mhm.
She fires the targeted system, hits the drive, which hits the engine, which automatically disables it. Then for the rest of the action, we deploy the boarding tubes from the ship. The weapon I suggest using this with is probably the multifoci laser. I think we need one multifoci laser because that thing can get through any ship's armor. It has 20 armor-piercing power. After that, the cost of that is 1 hardpoint, 1 mass, and 5 power. Okay? So it's a very cheap little weapon. After that, we have 3 or 4 AT-8s on our ship. The AT-8s will be there to destroy smaller vessels, like if they send drones in, as Sindoom's famous for. In that case, life support's a non-issue. We can get a lot of life support very easily, and the boarding tubes is just a one-time thing. And if we outfit our heavy frigates like that, we could get, call it about 500 people onto a Sindoom ship via boarding tubes round 1. And you're not really going to be fighting another ship, especially one that can tank some damage, like a heavy frigate, with a battleship if you got 500 angry Sarakian infantry on board your vessel. You know?
Yeah.
So I definitely think that's going to have to be probably the best way we deal with that.
Yeah. See, what I'm thinking is you have your gunboat, essentially, that is disabling engines and then providing cover for your boarding tube vessels to get to the ship.
Honestly, I don't think we're going to have any trouble with gunboat and boarding ship, because again, the weapons we don't need a lot of weapons to do its job. The flak guns already excel against the drones and fighters.
That's what I'm saying, is you leave, to deal with drones and fighters, you leave your gunboat set up to gunboat to knock out the engine, then they go for other soft targets like fighters, drones, whatnot.
Then what's the change that we do for the boarding version?
The boarding version is essentially 1 or 2 guns and the most people you can jam on a bitch and the most armor you can jam on the bitch.
Well,
to guarantee it gets there, because it's no good if your guys get on the way there and they get blown up.
Well, you have 20 mass, you have to divide that by 2, so you can put 10 life supports on a heavy frigate. Subtract, let's say, 4, so you can go ahead and get 8 life supports on a frigate, on a heavy frigate. 8 times 120 plus 120. Nope. God damn it. 8 times 120 plus 120 is 1,080 troops.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like you can kind of, by specializing 2 ships, you can get a lot of people on a lot quicker.
The life support of a battleship can't even support 1,000 people.
That's what I'm saying. We don't even have to go that far with it to be able to overwhelm a battleship.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If we go with the other version, and how much power do the AT-8s take again, did we say? It wasn't much, I think.
I think it was only 1.
Or 0.5 or something. Okay, let's say 1 times 4 plus 5 for the multifoci laser. That's 9. So 9, and then let's say 4 more for everything else. So 9 plus 4 is 13, and 25 minus 13 is 12. 12 gives us 3 additions of the expanded crew. 3 times 120 plus 120 equals 480. We pretty much equal the number of Sindoom soldiers already, plus our people are better equipped and prepared, and life support on the battleship can support them.
Yeah, so here's what I'm thinking, is set one up just like you're talking. So basically for every 2 or 3 of those ones that are set up like you're talking, you get one set up like ours is now with just a ton of guns and armor.
Mhm.
That allows the other ones that are set up a little more conservatively on the gun side and set up for boarding, they can defend themselves on the way in and get in like that, you know.
Well, let's not forget, we don't have to go ahead, and the one we have set up is a much more multi-faceted vessel than we need. If we're making one that's purely for combat, we don't need the sensor mask. We don't need anywhere near the cargo capacity. We don't need the extended med bay. There's a lot of things we can dump from our ship.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For like other vessels that we're setting up, they can be just pure gunboats. For every 3 or 4 boarding vessels, you have one gunboat to provide good cover fire.
Yeah. And I think that in order to do this, we're going to have to, first things first, we need Sirach under our control so we can get troops under there. After we get Sirach, our heavy frigate might be the only heavy frigate we have to start with, in which case we have to do the first raid, which will be easy.
Which I'm thinking for the first raid, we don't even necessarily go for a big ship first. Maybe we just go for a heavy frigate and send merchant vessels to go attack.
No, don't send the merchant vessel. No,
well,
let's
here's what I'm thinking. Well, here's what I'm thinking is we can provide, you know, none of the other vessels that we are going to have access to when we first kick this pig are going to have the capability of defending themselves very well at all.
Yeah.
So we basically have to become the line of fire, which is walking them in. So we get the smaller vessels that can still have a decent amount of crew to get aboard a heavy frigate and capture a heavy frigate. We get them set up to board and just armor and board. That's all they have to do.
Here's the thing. There are only 2 civilian vessels at this level, okay? The shuttle and the free merchant. The shuttle can have an absolute maximum of 40 people, and that's with no boarding tubes, that's with nothing else.
Yeah,
so
the shuttle's virtually worthless, but the free merchants, we can get, say, 3 or 4 of them to board a heavy frigate, and that should be enough to overwhelm it, shouldn't it?
It's going to be very iffy, because the free merchant has such a small crew of only 6 people, and even with extended life support, as we were describing, we can reasonably get it up to about 24 on each one. And to do that, we're going ahead, and the thing we have to think about is each ship also has a bridge officer who's the pilot. We have the captain. We have the weapons officer. We have the comms officer. We have the engineer. So that's 5 people out of the first 6 who every ship we lose at minimum those 5 necessary people who, those are the tough ones to get. Because it takes a lot of training to become a ship pilot if you're coming from a tech level 2 world. It takes a lot of training to become all those things require a buttload of training, and every free merchant we lose trying to take something is those irreplaceable jobs lost when it comes to those fields. And we have to think, is it worth sending a bunch of free merchants in there to risk getting hit, or just one vessel with, let's say, our crew with more than enough people to board another one? Plus, after we go ahead and do the initial hit, we board, and then we can defend it while they take it. There's not going to be any need to really walk anything in. And it's just thinking about what assets do we have and what assets can we afford to lose.
Yeah.
And I think that's the big problem we have is Sirach's a fantastic planet to get soldiers.
Yeah.
But there aren't ship crews there. Ada knew how to fly a ship because her father showed her.
Yeah.
And that was like it.
Ideally, I don't want to change our ship around. Like, I'd hate to completely reconfigure our ship again.
Well,
it's really working like a well-oiled machine at what we want to be using our ship for. Maybe after we get the Sirachians, doing their thing, there's got to be at least 1 or 2, or at least one other heavy frigate between UPM and MT-20 that can be spared to kick this pig off.
We
that
might
can
have to
send the
steal
other
it.
way.
Yeah, I fully agree. We should be able to steal one. But I'm saying in worst case scenario, there's what we have to change on our frigate to go ahead and let us board other ships with enough people to take it over. We have to put on one boarding tube, so we have to get rid of one cargo space.
Mhm.
We can afford to do that. It's not going to
Yeah.
jeopardize our ship right now.
Well, yeah, we only have 2 cargo space right now.
Yeah. But like I said, most of
Which
our
isn't-
land vehicles would be deployed on Sirach anyway, so it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. And that's the thing. That's only for the first one. After we get the first one, we can go right back and modify the other one.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can do it, but we have to think where we're going to go to first.
Yeah.
And I think that's the big thing is,
Once our intelligence come in, we should be able to find some more vulnerable vessels.
well, we did ask our intelligence. One of the things was, where are the ammunition dumps and ship, where
Yeah.
are the ship docks and stuff, the repair docks and things. Because if we can get our ship and land it on a repair dock without the boarding tube, we just deploy, let's call it 90 soldiers into a repair dock that just slaughter some engineers and jack the ships.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that a raid on a ship dock would work very well for us as well.
Yeah.
Something else for after we pick up Jim, I use my hustle point. I'm going to reach out to the Master of Fang since I had a history with him. Is after picking up Jim, he wants to meet with Galileo and I, so we can try and see what resources he has, since he's obviously not huge into Sindoom, and it just gives him more power if we can get him on our side, since he works
Right.
from the location. So
Absolutely.
we'll have more resources once we move on a little more, and
Yeah.
after we pick up Jim. And who knows, where Jim's at and all that, the situation might change completely. He might have additional resources that we don't know of right now, that
Mm.
locations of ships or access to ships.
Yeah. And that's the big thing is, if depending on what Jim has, this is all going to start next week when we go ahead and we save Jim.
Yeah. The thing about Jim that they told us, what was it? I forget. I think I remember something about us changing the document. What was that to get delivered? I thought it was ship parts, or was it a whole ship? Fuck.
It was ship parts, I believe.
No, it was a ship.
Was it?
And you used a hustle point to change where the delivery stuff on it.
I can't remember what kind of ship it was though.
Yes, it was a let's wait so you can get out of here.
Don't tell me he fucking had a battleship delivered to fucking. There's no.
might have been a fleet
battleship.
cruiser or
It might have been a. I don't remember.
Let's see.
I honestly don't remember.
That
You were
happened
fucking
so
with a lot of
long
shit.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's just Jim. He is completely uneducated in like the way of outer space for the most part. So he just kind of fucks with shit and hopes it works.
And okay, here are my notes, and this is from session 2.
Way back in the day.
Vanguard Nebula Shipyard, copying data, spreadsheet, 40 paid invoices. Part of an audit, unpaid, Sindoom Industries, modification, note says AGW. Not sure what the abbreviation means. Vanguard doesn't build weapons. Ship has not been delivered. Heavy frigate.
Oh.
Change the invoice. Adobe Acrobat space version. Admin role. Hustle point. Average worker will not notice. Someone who uses the program and is looking for anomalies might find it. Delivery destination, Sindoom, same. Delivery ship, Nerf Herder. Stamp paid. You change that one. And that's the rest of it. So basically what you hear from Jim is he said something about they found out about a ship that was supposed to be delivered to him, and he doesn't know what he can't remember what it was, and because Sindoom is all up in Vanguard Nebula's business, probably looking for this particular ship because let's see, it's day 22, 23 of the new year, and they haven't seen their ship yet.
Where'd it get sent? I don't remember where we sent it. Because didn't we change the delivery destination?
No, it was supposed to be Sindoom, but you were going to go pick it up, I believe, and you changed the delivery ship. So somehow they traced it back to Jim.
Mm-hmm.
How would they ever have achieved that? I mean, Jim was so careful.
So basically, we need to get Jim and Boogie him over to Vanguard and get him in his new ship.
Oh my God, it's perfect.
So we're going to boogie through their back door yet again. Because they apparently have very bad accountants.
It's just sitting there. No one's found it yet.
Essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No, that sounds like bureaucracy.
We got to get Jim to Vanguard Nebula as fast as possible to basically walk in, hop in a better ship.
Yeah. And
So
if we
basically,
can
we
get
need to
this-
rescue Jim, get him on his free merchant, and just have him boogie over to the Vanguard, sell his merchant, and hop in the heavy frigate and bounce.
Yeah, we can get the heavy frigate and then bounce and disappear.
Then we could definitely have a gunboat and a boarding ship.
Yep.
It's all coming together. This is just too coincidental. Like this kind of shit that happened session 2.
Yeah. Well, you see, we've been planning this for a long time.
It was calculated.
Yeah. Session 2.
Mm-hmm.
What, do you think Obi hasn't been manipulating the entire thing?
Right?
He's
That
been there the
face.
whole time.
Right? He knew that Sindoom was gonna become giant assholes, so he's like, aha, I have the power of administration
I
and
have
computer
the
knowledge.
The master of puppets. Yes, dance, monkeys, dance.
Wait a second, you're the master of... They named a ship out of... He is working for Sindoom. They named a ship after him.
Well,
My
shit.
God.
Additional knowledge acquired. Jim now has a plan to get himself a boarding hot rod.
So
I'm happy
yeah,
this...
That'll be Jim, so make sure you start thinking of new names for the ship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always so amazed by Peter's campaigns, how he plans all this stuff out so far in advance.
yeah,
I did not
Right.
foresee this at all.
yeah, right.
Right? Session 2 affecting, I don't even know what session we're on now.
20.
20? Wow. God damn.
I mean, just how brilliant do you have to be as a DM to go ahead and say, you know, they're going to need that heavy frigate way in the future.
Yeah, right.
And they're going to, I'm going to make sure they can get, just prophetic at this point.
Mhm.
Like, bro, I completely forgot about that.
Oh, I know you did. I know you did.
Jim
And
was
I
just
kept thinking
super-
in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, that ship, I keep and I was like, damn it, I got to look at those notes. I know that ship is supposed to get delivered, or they're going to be looking for it. But not Jim's not in the game. Oh, well, it's Big Montana. He wouldn't. Yeah, I was like, oh, well,
Yeah.
probably need to bring that up. So I remind him.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. I honestly didn't think it was going to work at all. It was more of just like a shot in the dark. Maybe something happens, but more than likely they find out their clerical error and just fix it.
Well, you know, you put some effort into it. You rolled pretty good. I mean, it wasn't just like passing whatever. It was,
Yeah.
you know, it was, you put the work into it. So, I mean, that's fair enough.
This is why I build charisma characters.
So, yeah, we would definitely need to, I mean, there's a lot of planning here.
Yeah.
I mean, for what you want to do, what I'll probably try to do is, and I don't know how well this is going to work, but I'm going to have to make an attempt anyway. One of the issues that I'm running into is that the Sunday crew which obviously Josh plays in. Yeah, it plays every other week, and unfortunately I couldn't play this last Sunday. But in the timeline is kind of behind you guys.
Say the least.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Fortunately,
have
soon we are going to be burning time though, getting that military trained.
right,
That'll
but
give a
see,
good opportunity for them to
the
catch
problem
up.
is I've got to catch them up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like
The
2 weeks.
campaign.
Well, they're in a situation now where I can probably affect the time because could be weird time fluctuations could happen. But
I'm
I
not
think
saying anything, but my character winds up dying on Sunday, like they're going to, and I make a sidekick that just happens to have precognition, and that fucks everything up by fucking with the timeline. I mean, it works. Okay.
I'll probably need to catch them up because I think it would work because the curator would say, "Do you know anybody who has a ship?" And she would say, "Of course I do. Wholesale war."
Yep.
And it would make sense for you to coordinate with the other group. I think this would make a lot of sense for you guys to coordinate with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I will probably need to catch them up and then try to swing one of those guys to show up in some kind of big meeting that you would probably have.
Because they don't even
Maybe
know that
Josh's
they're
character.
outlaws yet, do they?
Oh no, they don't even know. Well, Josh obviously knows, but the whole Jagger Fells is in charge. They have no idea. That has not happened yet.
We don't know about so much shit right now. We're so far behind in the timeline.
Yeah.
There's a lot of major events that group has no idea about, and the minute they get back to normal space, they're going to go like, "What the fuck?" And it's just me
I blame it
sitting
on
there
lack
with
of
a shit-eating grin.
I blame it on lack of heavily modified vehicles.
If I was in one, I'd go through a lot fewer characters. So about my mech suit, Peter, and the 4 million I need for that. This game has been absolutely brutal to me character-wise, and it's all bad luck.
It is.
Yeah.
I've managed
to make a lucky character.
Right. I've managed to just barely tooth and nail hold on to Big and like he has been so close so many times. Holy shit. He has developed a hardcore lift addiction. Like he's got problems.
Eric is still a bit sorry for that.
Oh, because he's almost died so many times. He's always been right there.
He's probably got some pretty wicked scars.
Oh yeah. Well, his belly button's still upside down. It's in the wrong place, It's sitting too high on his chest. I don't think we did.
Oh no, we might need to get her to fix that problem.
But you might want to scour the sectors and look for, allies you haven't thought of. Maybe there's an ally on that Earth planet you just left.
Well, they did EMP us like assholes, so I don't know how much I trust that Earth planet.
But that might have been like a planet decision.
That is also
been like one person who's like in charge, like
Oh, great! So there's a civil war on that planet, and now we're gonna have to go pick a side and fight for it. Great! I didn't see any gun battles or anything while we were there, so it's like a damn Cold War or some shit there, and we're gonna have to deal with that. Fuck that!
But yeah, definitely after the big meeting with MT20, UPM, and AIA. I think that was what they were. AIA. Did I get that right?
Yeah, a bias independent.
Yeah. After the big meeting with them three, Big Montana will start scouring for other individuals. But we got to figure out the big three first, and then we can start figuring out smaller groups that also would like to cooperate. Yeah. Got to form a collaboration.
I think it's probably partly. Let's see here. It's probably partly my fault because I say it wrong. It's 20 MT.
20 MT.
20 MT. Okay.
Yeah, and there's a
MT.
reason.
Oh, I see.
And there's a reason it's called 20 MT.
it takes 20 minutes for them to do anything.
No, and the only reason I say that is because today I was at the grocery store and I was reminded again of the 20 MT.
Oh, God.
Ah.
I have never gotten that from them.
Yeah,
That's pretty great.
That's going to have to be edited out so that we can charge them money later for advertising them.
that's right. Free advertisement.
Right.
20 Mule Team Borax. Let me know.
It's not
Hashtag.
free.
No, the whole time.
Hashtag sponsor us.
Hashtag Pornhub.
Yep, we also need to give the good old shout out to Pornhub. We need that sponsor.
How the fuck did I start that thing?
Oh, that started way back in the last campaign. That was,
Yeah, that was my fault.
I don't remember why.
Because we said something and I was like hashtag Pornhub, and then afterwards everyone just started
Yeah, we just
chanting
kind of
it.
jumped on that train.
The crazy train that has no brakes.
Yeah, and then we literally jumped on a train.
Well, you tried to jump off it, it didn't go so well.
That was so funny. I knew that wasn't going to work, but it was just too funny to not do. It was totally something Durbin would have tried.
Are you having as much fun as I am pretending that we have absolutely no idea what happened on the Earth planet?
Yeah, I know. It's great.
That's exactly what it's like in playing both these games at the same time with both of you. I have so much knowledge about things and I can't say any of it.
See, I
Great.
enjoy that, though. It's so funny being able to, like, completely play dumb.
Yeah, it is. It actually makes it a lot more interesting to play a character if you're trying to play dumb.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, that's kind of what I'm doing with my fucking Miyoko right now, too. Because I'm playing 3 different sides all at once. This is amazing. I love it.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to take off, being that it's now an hour past when we were kind of trying to stop.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
It's getting kind of late now.
I really
Yeah.
get into the whole compilation of trying to figure out the most effective route to go for with certain things.
Yeah, the war planning got very serious.
Yeah,
It's kind of important, though.
yeah.
Very serious. But hey, that's good. You're engaged.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you guys next week.
All right, take it easy, man.